knowing how much you're spending is kind of like shooting hoops in the dark. Not a great idea. See the whole picture. Make FanDuel's My Spend tool part of your system. Visit FanDuel.com/playwell for more info. 21 plus and present in select states. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit rg-help.com.
Mark your calendars. Saturday, February 1st for the K-Out Cancer Fund Celebration Walk at Wakement Soccer Park. Join us in celebrating survivors, caregivers, and those bravely fighting all cancers affecting women. Your participation funds life-saving research and expands access to quality care for the underserved in our community. Register at kout.com and be part of the movement to transform the narrative around the fight against cancer. Join us today in making a difference at KAYYOW.com.
The next disaster is coming. Make a plan. Keep extra medication on hand. Make copies of important documents. Stay informed and be ready. Learn more at americares.org/send-us-in.
Paid for by Hims & Hers Health. Hims & Hers Weight Loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions at forhers.com apply. Wegovy and Ozempic are not compounded.
With Hers, you can access doctor-trusted weight loss plans, like compounded GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy. Based on pricing through Hers, save up to 91% per month with compounded semaglutide, the same active ingredient as the name brand drug. Get started at forhers.com/start today. That's forhers.com/start.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. This afternoon, cloudy skies, some isolated showers, and cool temperatures. We'll see a high of 49. Clearing tonight, and we drop down to freezing, but warm right back up tomorrow into the upper 50s under partly cloudy skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones is up 217 points to 44,464.
He's a fantastic player, and we expect him to change our team and make us better. And, that's what we get judged by. How far the team goes and what happens from there remains to be seen. Obviously, we hope it works out in both ways.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm Tim Donnelly, Dennis Cox producing the show. That voice you just heard, the man of the hour, Eric Tulsky.
Let's go.
General Manager, Carolina Hurricanes. They made the move. That's the move. They took the swing. They took the risk. Shout out to Eric Tulsky. We do have a Monday Soundoff coming up. So if you have thoughts on the trade that Geets, that's how we're going to start. That gets Mikko Rantanen. We're just going to we're
geeking out.
I'm a little excited.
I'm
a little excited. That gets Mikko Rantanen here to Carolina. If you have to sound off on that, on NC State basketball dropping another, UNC escaping with a win in overtime, Duke State tonight, the AFC NFC championship games, whatever you want to sound off on. About 3:30, we'll open up the phone lines. Bookmark the Heister Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. I can no longer say that the Canes and I see management of the roster differently. I've said so many times, like when a caller on something like a Monday sound off or many other situations, when somebody asks, do you think the Canes will do fill in the blank? I often have to say, I don't think they will, but I would, because I am somebody that's more like, go risk it for the biscuit, go for it. They're a more patient, more let's see how it plays out organization. I can no longer say that. They made the move that I would move. The Hurricanes acquired, as I said, Mikko Rantanen and Blackhawks left winger Taylor Hall in the deal. Colorado in return. Martin Necas, who lit it up earlier this year, still leads the Canes in a bunch of categories, and Jack Drury, as well as a 2025 second-round pick and a 2026 fourth-rounder from Carolina. Chicago basically orchestrated the deal and gave up Taylor Hall in the process. They got their own 2025 third-round pick that had been traded to Carolina, and they also retained half of Mikko Rantanen's $9.25 million salary cap hit. First of all, I just want to be on the record with this. I like Necas, and I think this show is one of the bigger fans of Jack Drury. Right? I have no issue saying
that's me sad.
That's Jack Drury, by the way, that he's sad for.
Yeah.
But I have no problem saying, I think Martin Necas is a good player. I think his skill set is elite, and I think he's going to play very well for Colorado. I think he fits better with Colorado. With that being said, how much we like Drury, how much we like Necas, you take this swing every time. He is worth the risk. And when I say he, I mean Rantanen is worth the risk. This is the move, right? I said it a few times, right? To do something or to get something you've never gotten, you have to do something you've never done. This is as big of a done something they've never done as we can remember. An in-season trade where one of the top 10 players in the NHL is moved, that doesn't happen darn near ever. And now the Carolina Hurricanes have done it. And the reason why I gave the shout out to Eric Tolsky at the beginning of the show is he hasn't been the head guy that long. This guy took over the job less than a year ago. This is not, let me get my feet wet, let me see how this league works. This is, let me make the biggest splash possible because he senses a window, right? He senses an opportunity. The best part about this, right, and oftentimes the best part about doing the job we do is there are receipts. I think it was last week I started talking about how there is no big bad behemoth in the NHL this year. There is no overwhelming betting favorite to win the Stanley Cup. There isn't even like a top 2 or 3 tier overwhelming favorite to win the Stanley Cup. So because of that, it felt there for the taking, right? Like whoever makes the all-in move is going to be best situated. And then within a week, the Carolina Hurricanes brought in a top 10 player. And on top of that, it's somebody who, yes, you're going to have to work them in. You're going to have to figure out who plays well with who. What's the learn each other's games. But there's a little bit of familiarity there. Rantanen and Sebastian Aho have played in juniors and different Finnish invitationals and all those sorts of things. Rantanen talked about building chemistry with his old buddy Aho and how it's going to come over time.
I think it's going to get better. Only we haven't played together in 10 years, probably last time in junior somewhere. So, but yeah, he's a good player. Very smart player and easy to play with. So hopefully we can get the chemistry building and get some offense going.
I love the fit of those two guys playing with each other, and it's not just because they're of the same nationality. I think Sebastian Aho and I think it's actually going to let me. Allow me to stop just wanting more from Aho. How many times have I been on this show, and those of you that listen often, you've heard it. Shoot the puck, Sebastian. Right? You be more aggressive. He's the leader in me calling for avocado selfishness, right? The good kind of selfishness. I'm going like, Aho, be greedy. Be the best player. Guess what? Mikko Rantanen can handle that now. You just continue setting him up with elite chances. He'll finish them. Now your roles can be a little bit different. You can be more of your natural setup guy. Leader, setup, still score, don't get me wrong, but pass up a good shot for you for a great shot for Mikko, and I'm fine. Taylor Hall, another, first of all, super experienced, obviously been in the league a long time, played in a bunch of different systems, played for a bunch of different teams.
Former league MVP.
Oh, yeah.
Not leave that out.
Oh, yeah, that too. Really good player for a really long time. Obviously not what he was when he was winning Hart trophies, right? As most players do. They age and things like that. But more skill up front. Another guy you can trust in big moments at the forward spot. And as I think many veterans out there would be, Taylor Hall, as he says here, excited to play for Rod Brind'Amour.
He's awesome. You can tell he's in every game. He's in every shift. And he sets a high standard here, and that's what you want from a coach. And I think he's someone where you have to build his trust, and once you get it, he believes in you, and there's nothing more that you want from a coach. I have talked to a lot of guys and heard nothing but good things, not only as a coach, mentor, but just as a guy and as a motivator. That's exciting for me.
Obviously, we talked about it. Some guys did leave. They gave up some picks. This is overwhelmingly a we got better today move. It is overwhelmingly the Canes this season are a better hockey team than they were 72 hours ago, or however long the trade was. Probably more than that. Seems like it happened 20 minutes ago. Head still spinning. And I love it. And that's not to acknowledge, or that's not to downplay the risk. There is risk. Rantanen, if he doesn't sign that long-term extension at some point before this offseason, this deal will be looked at by history very, very, very differently. Especially if Nate just goes on to something crazy with Colorado playing alongside McKinnon, which McKinnon has that ability to do that with certain players. I'm not saying it is foolproof. I'm saying you had to do it. If this becomes an option, you have to do it. Eric Tulsky, the GM, was on with Adam Gold earlier today, the show that precedes this one right here on 99.9 The Fan, and Tulsky talked about the known risks that come with the trades.
Of course, we are going to try and get Mikko extended. We would love to have him here long term. We are okay with all of the risks that this deal entails. Ultimately, there are players who just feel like a perfect fit for us. And when you find one of those, sometimes it's okay to stretch a little bit and go beyond what you would normally do.
There it is. I think, for lack of a better term, I think he's seeing the field really, really well. Mm-hmm. As a GM, he is seeing the field really, really well. I know you're excited, Dennis, because you pointed it out to me, that they didn't give up any first-round picks or any of their top prospects.
No.
That's and by the way, Kokaniemi and Roslovic, some of these guys mentioned, I'm not even sure they're done. Right? There's still 6 weeks before the trade deadline. Not saying I expect those guys to move, but if they so see it as necessary, perhaps they could. Tulsky, to me, it feels like he's seeing the field well. And what I mean by that is he's seeing the future of the league, the rising cap. He's seeing, that he may have just sold very high on a player who was in the midst of a career year and brought in somebody who, even in a non-career year might score 100 points. Mm-hmm. There's leveling up, there's tiering up, and that's exactly what they just did.
You mentioned 100 points.
Mm-hmm.
Mikko Rantanen in 81 career playoff games has 101 points. In 81 playoff games, not a regular season of 100 points, which he has multiple playoff games where things get tighter, things get tougher, things are more difficult.
Better opponents.
Yes.
With more on the line.
When they won the Stanley Cup just a couple of seasons ago and 20 games played, he had 25 points.
Goodness.
That's the reason why you brought the dude in. That.
Honestly, I'd be okay if they paid a decent amount more. Now it does become you want to re-sign him, right? And
sure.
On whatever Friday, right? Of course, the news broke right after our show. On Friday, one of my first thoughts was, how long are we going to give the Canes before we start pressuring them to re-sign Mikko Rantanen? And my suggestion was we wait till Monday. We let him celebrate over the weekend. Multiple fans were like, "Now, what are you talking about? No, we don't wait.
Let him get to Raleigh first. Let's bring him a cookout tray and a bow box. All right, we got to wait for
now." And I get the urgency, but at the same time, you have time for it. It's part of the trade. It happens so early. Sell yourself, right? Go play well. Put him in good situations. Win. It'll be easier to get that contract extension.
I was on Eric Tulsky's presser on Saturday, and he did say this is like a recruiting pitch. Mm-hmm. Getting him early as opposed to the trade deadline, it's a recruiting pitch.
Get him a bunch of points, get him wins, get good vibes, pack the house, get the Lenny cranking, and then turn around and say, sign right here, please. Well, 14, 13, what's the difference? Go 13. That's what you want to do. That's talking millions of dollars per year for one of the 10 best players in the league. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll continue to react to that trade throughout the show because it truly was league-shattering. It was league-rattling. And obviously, it shook things up here in Carolina as well. We also have a Monday Soundoff coming up. Before we get to any of that, here's Dennis Cox.
Folks, it's back. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. You're probably wondering, well, what's back? I'm telling you, it's better than ever. Who wants to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle? That's back, folks. Your chance to win a custom motorcycle all decked out in your favorite hockey team. Because the Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter. Go to caniacsbike.com for your chance to win this custom, beautiful motorcycle. Pics of the bike are right there on the website. Again, caniacsbike.com. Custom built right here in Raleigh at Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson. Custom painted by Shiny Side Paint right here in Raleigh. And the colors of the Carolina Hurricanes, their logos, white wall tires. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, just go to caniacsbike.com to enter. Deadline is April 6th, with the bike being given away on the last home game of the year. But don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Again at 5:30, we'll be opening up the phone lines for your sound-offs, and that will include reactions to the Mikko Rantanen trade. We also, before we get to opening the phone lines, have to address University of North Carolina Tar Heels men's basketball needing overtime and a few pretty superhero defensive plays to beat Boston College. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
So I went to this concert, and there's this guy in New York that goes to concerts and gives out $2 bills because he says it's not even about the money, it's about the reaction that he gets from people. Because if you give them a $2 bill, they're like, wow, this is awesome, because we don't really see $2 bills. So he gives them out.
That's random as hell.
It's one of the weirdest stories any person has ever told.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted a colonial with high ceilings, hardwood floors, and a peaceful neighborhood. And you found it. Now, every Saturday at 6 a.m., you get to wake to the sound of your neighbor's leaf blower. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time, and the month of January marks the 45th anniversary of bold flavors, southern hospitality, and all of the timeless classics you get at Triangle Area Bojangles. In 1980, Triarch Food Systems, Inc. opened their first Bojangles in Selma, North Carolina, a welcoming place to come together and enjoy some made-from-scratch goodness. Here's to 45 years, and many more to come. Thank you, Selma. It's always bow time.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
Lowe's knows how to help make your Super Bowl 59 party a touchdown. Let us help you prep your home to host with top brands like Charbroil, Blackstone, and LG, so you can be the MVP of game day. Plus, use the Lowe's app to find what you need for a seamless shopping run. Or huddle up with our Lowe's Red Vest associates to help make all your game time hosting decisions.
Discover the thrill of precision and elegance with Omega at Bailey's Fine Jewelry. From the depths of the ocean to the heights of space, Omega's Seamaster and Speedmaster collections are crafted for those who dare to explore. With a heritage rooted in innovation and a timeless style inspired by sports, space, and cinematic legends. Omega is the gift for every adventurer. Find your perfect watch at Bailey's Fine Jewelry in Raleigh's Village District. Voted best jeweler. Learn more at baileybox.com.
Cadeau to R.J. Davis. Gets a clean look from three. Count it from straight away. R.J. Davis with the huge triple.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. For those of you that follow us on our YouTube, 99.9 The Fan, thank you. For those of you that don't, what's up with that? Get there. Make it happen.
Let's do this, people. We're almost at 15,000. Let's make that happen.
We are, and we have some cool stuff. I don't know. I think I'm allowed to say it on air, but I'm actually going to.
I don't know if we are yet.
I was just going to say it, but I don't want to jump the gun. So we'll check that. Maybe later this week we'll let you know. But we have some really cool stuff that we plan on giving away when we reach 15,000 YouTube subscribers, and we're knocking on the door. But the reason I started that whole conversation is in the comments of our YouTube live stream, which is going on right now, video, waving to everybody out there. Hello. We ask you to grade the Mikko Rantanen trade. Can't be. I'm mispronouncing this guy's name all day just because I'm so jacked up. The Rantanen trade, we want your grades. And today's all kind of about your input. We have a feedback or a Monday Soundoff coming up. So get there, get your grades in. They're already streaming in. We'll address them later in the show. For the moment, we need to address North Carolina basketball. I know you won.
Bruh.
I know you won. You beat Boston College in overtime. That is not enough to quiet any of the alarms that I am hearing when I watch UNC basketball. Right? Because making it to overtime and winning is obviously better than losing. But just going to overtime in the manner that you did, harrowing. All you had to do, this is how we can literally say it. All you had to do was hold one of the worst scoring teams in the ACC to under 89 points in regulation, and you don't go to overtime. It's that simple. Hold them to within 15 of their scoring average. You don't got to hold them below their scoring average. Hold them to within 15 of their scoring average. You win the game. No drama. And do you know what's even more concerning? And this is why I'm so frustrated with UNC. They showed once again that they can do the things that they aren't doing. I'll explain what that means after we hear from Hubert Davis, the head coach, on the team's motivation.
I think they have found it when they have needed it. And it's needed at the jump ball.
Really concerning there. Really. Here's the frustrating part. In a game like that, defense, atrocious. Okay? Boston College was getting every three they wanted. They were knocking them down at a high clip. Boston College doesn't have a ton of scorers, but suddenly they're scoring a bunch. So the defense was the issue. Then you're down 89-85. Less than a minute on the clock.
There was like 18.6 on the clock.
And suddenly, I want to say, well, yes, you're correct. But when they first got down 89, I think it was like 27. The details are irrelevant. Suddenly they turned into like the 2004 Detroit Pistons. Suddenly they're the best defensive team we've seen. They're forcing 5-second violation timeouts and then a 5-second violation. They're getting steals. They're setting up their offense with defense. Suddenly they're the best defensive team we've seen all season in watching UNC games. Which you might say is like, oh, good, right when they needed to, as you heard Hubert Davis, right? They found it when they needed it. I'm going, no, you just proved that you have it when you want it, and you went 39 minutes and 30 seconds without it. If you just play that level of defense, you empty the gas tank on every possession, you play that level of defense for 3 minutes, you win the game. You play it for a whole game, you're a top 10 team in the country that you were at the beginning of the season. Now, that to me is as disgusting of a thing to say about your team as you possibly can. If I were a player, you can call me, or if I were a player, if I played basketball at the University of North Carolina, You could say things about our style of play or our recruiting rankings or my level of talent. The one thing I would be furious if somebody said is it's an effort thing. Right? Because that's the thing you can control the most. I can't control how tall I am. Right? Which is what we've said about UNC a bunch. You're undersized. You don't have the strength. When you play a team with a true big, you're going to be at a disadvantage. I can't control how tall I am. There's nothing I can do in season to become a much, much stronger player. But the one thing I can do is go out there and leave it all on the line every possession. They left it all on the line defensively for about 4 possessions. And those 4 possessions showed how good they could be. It's a decision. Like rebounding, defense, they're effort things. They're about not letting the opposing team catch their breath. If you can do that with the game on the line, do it all the time, especially if you're maybe the rest of your game isn't what you thought it was. Right? If RJ Davis was averaging 23 and you know everybody else were upping their totals or giving you what you thought they were going to give you offensively at the beginning of the year, this wouldn't be as big of a deal. But when the offense stops working, you have to have something you can fall back on. And in this one, the offense was working. Right? Make no mistake about it. Scoring 89 points in an ACC game like UNC did, you expect to win that game every time. It was one of, and I played college football at University of Delaware, say it all the time. We had like mini goals, one of them every single game. Our offensive coordinator would stand up front, and it was 24 points because our offensive coordinator had gone back through our head coach's career, and he had been a head coach for 1 billion years. He's one of the winningest active college football coaches on the planet, just took the Temple job. And he went through his entire coaching resume, and he found out the percentage of games that our head coach won when the offense scored at least 24 points, and it was like 89% or something. Saying 89 points in a basketball game? I imagine if you go through the history of any coach, if they score 89 points, the win percentage is like 95%, at least. If you do that, your defense has to be good enough. And when we see you be able to do it late in the game, I'm going, why didn't you do it earlier? Squeaking by Boston College, it's better than losing, and that's about as nice as I could say about it.
I don't know what it was about late in that game where Boston College seemed to just fumble away. They had, 3 opportunities with the ball and didn't even get a shot off to win the game? I mean, again, credit Carolina's defense on a lot of that stuff, but it's also, I thought they actually mismanaged some of it themselves.
For sure.
But still, I'm like.
For sure. BC does not get excused from their part in it. But I'll also say this, right? You apply tremendous defensive pressure on somebody. It's like, isn't it funny how the good teams are always lucky? Like UNC, I think, caused some of the panic, especially because Boston College was probably going, wait a second, there hasn't been defensive pressure all game. Kind of got used to it. Now, where'd this come from? If you have thoughts, good. We want to hear them. UNC basketball, the Canes trade, so much more. We're going to open up the Monday Soundoff phone lines. Heister Automotive Group hotline open now. 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. If you have something you want to sound off on, call up right now. In the meantime, Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending, the home of the no closing cost loan. The beauty of the no closing cost loan, 0 means 0, no third-party fees, right? The beauty of it is it takes some of the pressure on timing off of you, right? We all want to time the market appropriately. Oh, when the rates are going to drop next week, why would I get my mortgage now? I need to time it perfectly. Well, you get a no closing cost loan, you don't have to worry about timing, right? You get your mortgage when you need a mortgage, when you need a house, when you need to move due to a job, whatever it is. You can't always control timing. You get your mortgage. You get the lowest rate you can. Miller Lending will shop around to 25, 30 lenders, and you don't pay closing costs or fees. And the reason why the beauty of it is the no closing costs and no fees is if rates drop next week, refinance. Oh, look at that. I timed it perfectly. If the rates drop again, refinance again. Oh, look at that. I timed it perfectly. You don't have to take the money out of your pocket for the costs and fees that normally make us so hesitant to refinance if they drop because, we should wait a little bit more. They're going to drop a little bit more. Are they? Should they? Will they? I don't want to regret it. Miller takes that regret right out of your brain. The number to call, 919-447-3377. That's 919-447-3377, or you can visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that is millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender, NMLS number 250-2146. As I mentioned, Monday Soundoff open now. The phone lines open for your thoughts. 919-860-5326. We have a half hour of your calls coming up next.
Move your sports day forward.
They felt that they couldn't get there with Marty Necas and Jack Drury. That's what a trade is. It wasn't going to work with those two guys. But perhaps with Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall, it does work. And maybe that window just got a little bit bigger. Time will tell. Time will tell. That is the biggest elephant in the room. This is a new era of Carolina Hurricanes hockey.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Can your heating and air system handle the winter chill? Call Newcomb & Company to ensure your system is running at peak performance. As a Comfort Contract customer, you'll get priority service and a 15% discount on all HVAC and plumbing service calls and repairs. Newcomb & Company, your independent trained dealer, has proudly served our community for more than 70 years, delivering reliable comfort and peace of mind. Call 919-862-3000 or visit newcombandcompany.com. Newcomb & Company, your comfort is our business.
Love baseball? You'll love this. The Durham Bulls are hiring for the 2025 baseball season for all kinds of part-time positions that let you be a part of the fun and excitement at DBAP. Come out to the 2025 Durham Bulls Job Fair this Saturday, February 1st at the PNC Triangle Club inside Durham Bulls Athletic Park from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Bring your enthusiasm and be ready for on-the-spot interviews. Step up to the plate and come out this Saturday. Your new job is waiting at the Durham Bulls. See you at the ballpark.
Tired of hearing this from your local tire place?
Sorry, we can't fix it. Take it to Dauntless.
This year, skip the middleman and take your car straight to Dauntless Transmissions if you want quality work done right the first time. Transmissions, engine, or brake work, or just a regular tune-up. If it's broke, Dauntless will fix it. For quality work done with the kind of experience that works for you, take it to Dauntless Transmissions first. Go to DauntlessTransmissions.com to book your visit today. Dauntless Transmissions, your local source for exceptional service.
Will you make the right call? Time's running out, pressure's on, and you need your roof replaced. Hi, I'm Holly from RoofWorks. It's 4th and goal, and the decision's in your hands. The competition can't stop you. You're about to score the game winner. We've trained for years for this moment to raise the roof for you. So avoid the noise and put us in the game. Call RoofWorks today or visit us online at roofworks.com. That's roof, WERKS.com.
This is Super Bowl 59. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 59. Scoring touchdowns, it's key to hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Ready to place your first bet? Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
On front the score! Aho
trying to set up Rantanen, and it'll take a bounce for Carolina, and it's a 2-0 lead as Aho gets his 16th of the season and a good break for the Canes.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for our Monday Sound Off. Every single Monday about this time that we have a show, we open up the phone lines and we let you sound off on everything you need to sound off on, anything you need to get off your chest, good or bad, about your favorite teams. This is the time to do it. Micah in Morrisville, one of our regular callers who is as big of a Canes fan, as big of a hockey fan as I think any of our listeners, is going to lead things off. But the phone lines are open. Call in now, 919-860-5326. It's the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Micah, you are leading off. Go ahead. Sound off on the Canes.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. I'll go with two things, but I'll be quick. So first off is a good thing. So I'm going to say I'm super glad that the Canes, one, they made the trade. Yeah, that's great. But two, they kept Kokniemi. I know on, Saturday night, there was rumors out there that he was the one being sent with Natchez. And I was so upset / worried that we were going to give up KK and Natchez for Rantanen, which is, still probably would have been a good trade, but that's a little too much. When we substituted Drury, Drury's a great guy, but they're not even close in comparison to me. The last, 10 games or 5 games, Kokniemi's probably been playing the best hockey he's ever played as a Cane. And then you saw the next night, you saw his confidence. I think them keeping him, he was so confident. He went out there, saw Nita's fetch. He dropped the gloves right away, hit that dude with the left hook to the face, and then he was all over the forecheck. He's heavy. And him and Svetch on the second line, KK can't get demoted anymore from Drury going up. He's going to be confident. If we're going to win the cup, KK's going to have to play like he plays right now. I know that was long. And then second, Jackson Blake has got to get off the first line. I'm going to just be real. He's a really good player. In 2 to 3 years, he's going to be unreal, but he's just not. He can't be on the first line with Rantanen and Aho. That's an easy substitute for Jarvis. I would honestly say Blake is a Walmart version of Jarvis right now. Just swap them right there. Jarvis, Rantanen, and Aho is the best line in the NHL. One of the best lines.
All
with
right.
the Kucherov, Gensel. That's it.
I appreciate the call. As always, Mike, call back in anytime. This is another one of those that I do think is a bit the Canes just don't do that. The Canes don't put all of their studs on one line. They like to spread them out. They like to have balanced scoring. So, putting Jarvis with Aho and Rantanen, you're darn right that's like a little Avengers lineup. That's a beast of a lineup. Beast of a line, I should say. But having Jarvis elsewhere gives them a little bit more playmaking, a little bit more scoring punch. So that's just kind of the way Rod plans it.
I know. I talked to Rod about a week ago, and I asked him about Jackson being up, playing the Warriors. He wanted to get him more minutes right now. So it's kind of where things fit, especially with Svetch playing alongside Kokoniemi and Hall. At least that's how they practiced and actually how they finished the game on Saturday. But one of the big kind of kickers in that is you still don't have William Carrier right now. So you take Jarvis off of that line, who you put in that spot? Who do you trust to skate alongside those guys? Is it Eric Robinson? Which, again, you don't want to throw Blake maybe down on a fourth line. I don't know. It's a little bit different. You want to spread out both your skill and your size.
I agree with everything.
It's a little tricky right now.
And if we do know any, I just said something kind of we know about the Canes and know about the way Rod does things. He also is not afraid to be fluid and flexible and change. We may see games. We may see stretches where Jarvis gets bumped up there. He's going to see every possible lineup and then make the decisions for the postseason. And then even in the postseason, be willing to, you get two rough ones in a row. You never know what that third's going to look like. Briggs in Raleigh also wants to sound off on the Canes. The Heister Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326 for your calls. Briggs, go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, hey guys. Just so excited about the trade that Eric Tulsky was able to pull off. Not only do we get Rantanen, I think people forget about Taylor Hall as well. Such a depth guy. I really could see him maybe possibly taking over that Carrier spot if you wanted to move Jarvis back up to the first line as well. But back to Rantanen, I think we all have to somewhat be patient because, yes, there was no extension in place. But I think we need to convince him to stay by surrounding him with the best possible players on that line. So I think you have a Jarvis, Aho, Rantanen first line, and I think that would be even better than the Gensel line last year by a long shot. But we have tons of money, too, to spend in the off season, so I don't see why Tulsky doesn't re-sign him, even if we have to more than, what we are usually used to doing. So hopefully we get him locked up. I'm really excited about the rest of the season and a lot to be excited for next.
Appreciate the call. Call back in anytime. I'm gonna agree with something he said. I do think you make a few decisions if you can, and I don't know if Rod would do it this way because he's trying to win. I do think you'd be open to making a few decisions if you're like, hey, if we put Jarvis here and that line produces and Rantanen can guarantee he gets back up to 100 points and prove that he can do it here, that makes him want to stay a little bit more. I mean, getting him to stay becomes like one of the top 5 priorities in the entire organization. Obviously, number 1 is go win a cup, but somewhere in those next 4 priorities is, get a elite 28-year-old to sign up long-term to stick around and find out the way to make that work monetarily. Dean in Rocky Mount is next up on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. As expected, we are getting quite a few Canes sound-offs, and Dean is no different. Dean, go ahead and sound off.
Yeah, so this is an elite trade for the Hurricanes because anytime you get a chance to add a arguably top 5 player in Mikko Rantanen, you do it. I've mainly been impressed with Taylor Hall. I saw today they talked about the practice lineups, and they said they were experimenting Hall on the second line, and he looked good. Well, I heard he looked good against New York because I couldn't watch the game, but I listened to it here on 99.9 The Fan.
As you should. Lovely decision.
Yes. So I did listen to the game, and it felt like they were calling his name every 2-3 minutes about something good he was doing. And it sounded like there were about 3 or 4 opportunities where he could have had an assist, but the goaltender made a good play. So Taylor Hall sounded good in his first game. And post-game, Rod said that he thought that Mikko and Taylor Hall were 2 of the best players they had.
Here's what I'll say, and Dean, I appreciate it, and as always, you're welcome here. What I will say is this: that is such a small sample size, and it is so difficult to know. Like Taylor Hall and Mikko Rantanen really haven't played with anybody on the Canes. What was it? Walker and Rantanen played for a little bit last year in Colorado?
Yeah, when Sean Walker got traded from Philadelphia to Colorado. So they have a little history together, and obviously Aho and Rantanen go way back.
Yep, true. There's, but even that, you heard Rantanen earlier. We played the clip saying he and Aho's chemistry will come over time. There is quite a bit of getting used to each other. So, the individuals looking better, that just might mean everybody else was not on the same page with them, whatever it is. I am a fan of bringing in Taylor Hall, though. Don't let it sound like I'm being negative on Taylor Hall. Let's go ahead and mix in a non-Canes sound off here. So we will try to mix it up as we can. Trevor in Holly Springs on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. It's open to all of you, 919-860-5326. Trevor in Holly Springs wants to talk Kansas City Chiefs on their way to their 700th we're gonna mix it up and go to Kansas City. So here's Trevor in Holly Springs.
Thanks for taking my call, Tim. Yeah, I've been calling in all year. I know I told you we were gonna be here. Remember you told me we only win 1-score games, and now it's the refs are making the outcomes of the games. I don't believe any of that. I just want everybody just to kind of step back and watch. Like, we're witnessing greatness right now. So we haven't seen this since Tiger Woods and Michael Jordan. Thank you.
You're welcome. Was he saying that I said it's the refs, or was he just saying people? People? Oh, okay. People are saying it's refs. I am a major fan of appreciating greatness, and I said it over the last week that it's just we're going to see something that, or perhaps we could see something that we haven't seen ever in the NFL. And I think that's pretty darn cool. So shout out to Trevor and Holly Springs, Kansas City Chiefs. I think the question now becomes, if they win, does Kelsey ride off into the sunset? Are we seeing that for the last time? Might be the best receiving tight end, best playoff tight end in the history of the game. Let's go to Steve in Florida. Hey, all the way from Florida, wants to sound off on the Canes, but specifically Svech. I think this is an interesting player to bring up. So,
hey, Tim,
yep,
how
go
are
ahead,
you?
Steve. I'm doing well.
I've given up on Svech. Had my hopes on him when I lived in Greensboro for 17 years, and hopes and hopes. I don't want to see him on the first line again. To me, Roslovic would be a good choice for that first line. I don't think there'd be any problem with that. I really don't. He doesn't get enough attention. He's a scorer. I think I agree that Jarvie is needed for maybe the Martin can start. They got to have scoring other places. But I Svech single-handedly lost that overtime game three times with the pass and offsides. How many times are we going to be patient?
So how do you feel about
awful? But he's not a smart player.
How do you feel about Kotkaniemi, Svech, and Hall maybe as that second line?
Nothing wrong with that.
Okay, all right.
Don't mind that.
So maybe it's more of changing expectations for Svech, right? It's no longer you're expecting him to grow into an all-star, and you're just expecting him to be a solid second line winger.
Yeah, or when he still has expectations around the league of being something more than he is, maybe he'd be someone with value to trade and get someone for. He would be someone. I don't think it's a big loss.
All right, appreciate the call.
Maybe people disagree with it,
It's an interesting thought, Steve, and we're no bad ideas. So appreciate the call.
Excited about the future though here now with Rantanen.
Perfect. Optimistic end of the call there. I guess now it's now that Tulsky's willing to pull the trigger on a big major trade. What else can we send out? Svech, get out of here. What can we bring back? I'm still a fan of Svech. I don't think guys like that, the skill set grows on trees. By the way, Heaster Automotive Group hotline is open, 919-860-5326. We want your calls. We want your feedback. Yes, on the Rantanen trade, but not just the Rantanen trade, whatever else you want to talk about. 919-860-5326. We had a couple callers bring it up. KK Kotkaniemi going immediately to defend Svech after the knee-on-knee contact. I think that's kind of very, very heady, like very, very aware of Kotkaniemi, because I could see Svech with all of the, oh, good, now they finally have a big, powerful goal-scoring wing. If Svech is like, well, what do you mean, guys? I've been here all along. Like, I could see that kind of getting to him. Like, every bit of praise for Mikko Rantanen is kind of like, now we have everything that Svech couldn't be. Now we have everything that Svech couldn't grow into. And as soon as Svech got the knee-on-knee contact, whether you think it was, worthy of or not, Kotkaniemi was like, no, that's our guy. I think that's big. I think that's important. I think that's Kotkaniemi seeing the big picture and understanding how things work. So I think that was a good move from Kotkaniemi.
I totally get where Steve is coming from, though. Is that with the expectations for the number 2 overall pick of Andrei Svechnikov, his skill set, everything that he offers, he hasn't fully lived up to it. At least not consistently.
Well, you know what? I'll even go this far. Taylor Hall could have a good impact on Svech for that reason. I was telling you off air, Bedard, right?
Connor Bedard.
The number 1 overall pick, super stud for Chicago, has said multiple times, and as recently as a couple days ago, that Taylor Hall in Chicago had become someone that of a sounding board for Bedard, right? Because because Hall, number 1 overall pick, guy that at different times in his career lived up to expectations fully and maybe underwhelmed a bit. I wonder if Svech can't lean on that. Can't go, hey, Taylor, how'd you deal with? Hey, at this point in your career, what did you do or what were you going through? So maybe Taylor Hall could have a positive impact there, looking more kind of mentally, socially at the Canes rather than like X's and O's hammer it down of the Canes. Heaster Automotive Group hotline open for a Monday sound-off, 919-860-5326. Thomas in Durham wants to talk Charlotte Hornets.
The Charlotte Hornets.
Thomas, go ahead and sound off on the Hornets.
Yeah, I think I'm the only one that calls in and talks about them or actually watches them, so I feel like I have to represent the Hive. But who is the All-Star game for?
I would assume
In any
fans.
league, who's it for?
Fans, I assume?
Right. So when LaMelo finishes number 1 in fan voting for the guard position,
Okay.
and then finishes number 3 in player voting for the guard position, for the writers to them vote him all the way down to 7 and basically remove the chance he has of making the team unless the all-star coaches decide to put him there as a reserve. Are we doing a service for the fans or not?
It's a great question, and this is, I mean, you're going to enter into some sticky waters here because people also hate when the All-Star game is non-competitive. So
is it ever competitive?
Well, that's one of the main concerns, right? That's one of the main
So
gripes.
if it's never going to be competitive, shouldn't we at least have fun watching it?
I'm fine with that. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying I also like preserving the sanctity of what an all-star game like award, what that means, right? When someone's going into the Hall of Fame, we don't say, oh, he's a X amount of times all-star for nothing. So, if you make it a popularity contest, how soon until it's
totally
like the dunk contest with Mac McClung getting in every year and he's not even in the NBA.
I totally get that, but I don't really think that the difference between LaMelo Ball and Donovan Mitchell was going to save the watchability of the NBA All-Star game. If the fans have voted him in, and we're talking almost 1 million more votes than any other guard got, listen to the fans. The Hornets are terrible. Let the kid have his day.
I'm with you. I appreciate it. Go ahead and call back in anytime.
LaMelo Ball, 4th in the NBA.
I was just going to say he's also averaging 29 per game on like 10 or 10 makes and like he's not a bad player. So.
Yeah, the only people scoring more than him in terms of per game, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, former Hornet pick.
Yep.
Giannis Antetokounmpo, former MVP, and Nikola Jokic, who's 3-time MVP.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
the hard part is, and I only know this because I've seen some of the discussions online. He is 4th in the league in scoring, right above Kevin Durant and Jason Tatum. But to find a player who is shooting a worse percentage than he is, you have to go all the way down to the 25th scorer in the league. So my guy's getting shots up. But he's also on the Hornets, so it's like, a bad shot from LaMelo Ball, probably better than most other players on the Hornets. I'm not disagreeing with the caller. I'm just saying, there's two different ways to look at that.
Someone's got to shoot those shots.
I know. The easiest way to fix it, it's not easy at all. Can't do it. The simplest way is to just make players play hard.
That ain't happening.
It's not happening, but it's like if they're playing hard, then I'm fine with it being the best players in the league because then we get to see like the best basketball players on the court in one place. But as long as they are getting together just to do an alley-oop contest and shoot threes from the logo and laugh and joke, then, yeah, I hear what Thomas is saying. Heaster Automotive Group hotline open for a Monday. Soundoff 919-860-5326. Call in now. We have a couple more minutes. 919-860-5326.
We do have some people that chime in on our YouTube live chat.
That's where I was going to go next. We asked, and we continue to ask for throughout the show, grades on the Mikko Rantanen trade, which obviously also brought in Taylor Hall to the Canes. Dennis, what are they saying?
Travis says, I love it. Love Natchez and love Drury, but I think we upgraded from both players, which both of them, talking about Natchez and Drury, nothing but the best in Colorado. Chef Wolf says, A++, 3 pluses there. Terry says, A+ trade. Both players are bigger and stronger than the ones we gave up. I hope Aho doesn't defer to Mikko Rantanen too much and gives up his shot. Micah, who actually called in, initially said A+, thinks Natchez is going to go crazy in Colorado, and like he mentioned, Jackson Blake needs to get off the top line. Then he said, actually, B+. A+ is crazy. So Micah switched from A+ to B+.
Well, A+, B+, it's you're doing like no. Actually, I think minimum has to be an A-. I'm not going into the B's. I think it has to start with an A. If you want to really nitpick and I don't know the risk of re-signing him or whatever. If they re-sign Mikko Rantanen before he gets a chance to touch the open market, A+. as it stands right now, there's still the risk, there's still the uncertainty. Then I'm fine with A-.
Stewart says A+++ on the trade as well. We got a lot of A+++s over here. No A++ though.
Hey,
no A++. We got A+++. Brandon says he actually is excited to see what the team can do, how the team plays after staying in New York, because they're set to play the Rangers in Madison Square Garden tomorrow, and getting some time to gel with the new guys. Glad to see they get the point against the Islanders, but what really wants to beat the Rangers. Also, Brandon is a big fan of the My Two Dads line, which is Martin Nook, Stahl, and Seth Jarvis. Love seeing Seth Jarvis play up there with those guys. But also, actually, Chef Wolf said, I believe Hall and Orlov played together in Boston.
Okay.
Which actually, because when Dmitry Orlov got traded from Washington to Boston, Taylor Hall was there. So there's a little bit of that going on as well. Also, Trape says, Avs versus Canes Stanley Cup final will be epic.
It would be. Goodness gracious, it would be.
Ryan Jones says, how about this one, Tim? He calls you a homer. Ryan Jones says, Tim a homer, C-, another rental player.
It's, and I've said this from the very beginning, it is 100% a risk. But how do you not make that risk? How? And also, Martin Necas is a guy who this offseason was his future with the team was super up in the air, right? So a half year of Mikko Rantanen, a year and a half of Martin Necas. We love Jack Drury. I think Taylor Hall is an upgrade right now. Not to mention, the one YouTube commenter did say, they got bigger. I mean, Mikko Rantanen is 6'4", 220. Taylor Hall is 6'1", 201. These are two of the bigger players on the team already. You got stronger, you got more physical, and more skilled. Last one here before we hit the top of the hour and have to move on from Monday Soundoff. We have Reggie in Sanford wants to talk Miami Hurricanes basketball. I have a feeling this will be a real venting session. Reggie, go ahead and take it away and sound off.
Yes. Miami Hurricanes having a terrible season. But I watched their last game against California, and they really have nothing to play for. But they played their hearts out. I mean, they lost, but they played their hearts out. They played their hearts out, and gave themselves a chance to win. I mean, they looked a lot better than how Carolina played like the majority of the game against Boston College, but they played with a sense of heart in a losing effort.
I appreciate it. I agree with it. We're going to have to go because we're up against it, but thank you for the call, and I'll build off your point very quickly here. I'm becoming a very big fan of Cleveland. We put him on the Dean's list last week. He's a player for Miami that averaged like 14-6 last year, could have hit the portal, stuck around. His coach quit on him. His team stinks. They're getting down early in almost every game, and he just grinds, man. Had 23, including a bunch of free throws in an absolute blowout loss against Stanford. That's what got him on our Dean's list last week. Against Cal, I think I saw he had 30. Granted, it was an overtime game, so a little extra time to score, but there is something to be said for when everyone else is kind of quitting around you if you're just grinding and trying to do your best in a bad situation. I think Miami has a few of those players. So you're right. I'm seeing the same thing you're seeing, caller. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Always fun to hear from you. Monday Sound Off. It's also always fun to talk football, talk Super Bowl. Football at 4 coming up next. Philly versus Kansas City. How do we get here? What's it mean? Stick around.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
would you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
There's no time like bow time. And there's no time like now to stop what you're doing and join with the K-Yow Cancer Fund in the fight against all cancers affecting women. Now through February 1st, Triangle Area Bojangles are donating all proceeds from Bowberry biscuit sales to the K-Yow Cancer Fund. Just buy a Bowberry biscuit. You'll be doing some good and getting something good. So what are you waiting for? Hurry, it's bow time.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Mostly cloudy skies this afternoon, a few isolated showers here and there, and cool temperatures, highs in the upper 40s. We clear out tonight and drop back to freezing. And then tomorrow, a nice day. We'll actually warm up into the upper 50s under partly cloudy skies.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock, checking for money. Dow Jones is up 289 points to 44,713.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Our Super Bowl is set. Philly versus Kansas City, a rematch of a couple years ago. I'm gonna be, I think, on the opposite side of most people here, which is strange. I like the matchup. It was an awesome Super Bowl a couple years ago, and I think these two teams are deserving. I think they are two of the better teams in their conferences, and I think they won the games they needed to win. And most of all, above everything, I hate that the refs are the story. After that Kansas City game, the spot on 4th down, I agree it was a bad call. The Xavier Worthy catch near the goal line, which was dual possession, the ball hit the ground, who caught it, who didn't. There are, this guy was holding, that guy wasn't, they missed this, face mask. one of the few things I ask that I hope for after these games, and if you listen to the show, you know how excited I was for both the Buffalo-Baltimore game and the Buffalo-Kansas City game. I think the AFC is just littered with great teams. I wanted close games. I don't have a horse in the race. I'm not a fan of any of these teams. I wanted great games, and I wanted not to have the story be the refs, and that can't happen. And part of it is because you get just a hint of justification towards the ridiculous conspiracy theories. Maybe I'm naive. I'll open up that door. Maybe I'm just childish and innocent. I think it's absolutely outlandish to think there is some kind of true, actual behind-the-scenes conspiracy inner working to rig it for the Chiefs. Or rig it for anybody. Because the worry, right, the thing you'd be risking is everything. If sports come out as a league is not being fair, that league is it's exploded. Everybody loses their job. Everybody's got to go, and I'm not sure the league comes back from that. If they are the ones orchestrating a fix, do you know how many people would have to know? At least I would say 4 or 5 minimum. If there is a direct line from, actually more than that, if there's a direct line from Roger Goodell, wherever he is, to the radio and like into the headset of the ref, you'd at least have all of the refs, all of the head refs that have ref playoff games, Roger Goodell, and whoever sets up the technology to make it happen. And in radio, you learn, wouldn't be the easiest thing to do, to have a direct line from wherever Roger Goodell is to a guy on the field. I hate that I even have to do this. No. The conspiracy theory music can stay away. We want to talk about like aliens? Cool. Let's do it. I want to talk about fixing football games in a like if you want to joke about it, if you are a Broncos fan and you just want to make it impossible for anybody to credit the Chiefs, go nuts. I get fandom, I get rivalries. I hate that somehow there's tainted over what is and should be considered greatness. By the way, bad calls happen. I'm not saying they weren't bad calls. I agree the spot was ridiculous. Okay, so I'm not defending the call. I'm saying it was a bad call made in earnestness. It was a ref trying to do his best. That just made a bad call. And the reason why I hate this is because we might be watching the greatest dynasty in NFL history. Think of your favorite NFL team, the best, the one from your childhood that was dominant, that you always put above the rest. They have not three-peated. They have not won back-to-back Super Bowl championships. And the Chiefs might this year. And that is unbelievable, to do something that Brady couldn't, Montana couldn't, to do something that nobody in this league has been able to do. To always find a way. Because here's the thing. Like, right, the part that no one wants to talk about for the Bills is Josh Allen made the play. Right? He on 4th and 5, fading to his right, had a completely and totally unblocked rusher in his face off his back foot while backpedaling, put the ball 30 yards downfield in a place where his guy could catch it, and Dalton Kincaid dropped it. Now that shows how close it is, right? Every time someone wants to bring up Josh Allen hasn't been able to beat the Chiefs, what is the next thing they bring up? But actually, he's got like 10 touchdowns and no turnovers, and his quarterback rating is this, and he's played great in all of those games and all of these things. And I'm going like, that's how impressive the Chiefs are. You can be that good and never win. And the Chiefs make it every year. And they have drops, and they have things they do incorrectly, and they have fumbles. Matter of fact, what was it? Every fumble that hit the ground, the Bills recovered. Right? Josh Allen, he had maybe the best play he made yesterday. He fumbled it, and while he was being thrown to the ground with his offhand, just reached down and plucked it like it was an apple.
Just one hand snatch. Like, okay.
That's unreal. right? And the Chiefs, if he doesn't do that, get a turnover and then this happens and that happens, the margin of error is so small. The Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl again. And instead of saying that's pretty unbelievable, how about this? Who was the better running quarterback in that game? Patrick Mahomes. Josh Allen is an unbelievable running quarterback. He had 11 carries, as did Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes had more yards and touchdowns. That's unbelievable.
Those two teams just keep putting together great games. Just call it what it is.
They only play bangers, and the Chiefs are the only ones that win them. And somehow, some reason, some way, people are upset about that. As great as Lamar Jackson has been, as great as Josh Allen has been, as great as everyone in the AFC has been, the Chiefs win every year.
I think that's something that kind of ties into the nature of sports when it comes to fandom. It's not just necessarily who you're rooting for. You need someone to root against. And the Chiefs have become that for a lot of people. It's like, I'm tired of seeing them win. Like Alabama football, tired of seeing them win. Tired of seeing Ohio State. Same thing. Like, same teams every year. People want something to root against just as much as they want something to root for.
Maybe it was because I was a kid, but like I feel like the Jordan Bulls didn't have that.
There was an extent of that.
Was there?
There was.
It seems like everybody.
I was old enough to remember.
Seems like everybody was a Bulls fan.
Oh, a lot of young people were, but there's plenty of people that were
older.
like, ugh, tired of this
Were they
group.
from Detroit?
Maybe. Knicks fans.
Yeah, which, by the way, and I keep emphasizing that, if you're like a Raiders fan, hate away, right? Like the Chiefs,
oh, sure.
Like go nuts. It's the casual fans that don't have anybody that are just like, gosh, I can't stand it. I'm going like, I don't know. They might be the greatest team we've ever seen. The Eagles, on the other hand, run game special. Saquon Barkley is so good with the Eagles this year that he is actually slowly changing my mind on one of my longest held beliefs in the NFL. One of my longest held beliefs in the NFL is you don't pay running backs big money. You just don't do it, right? In a salary cap sport where every dollar you spend on one position is another dollar you can't spend on one of the other positions, I've always said you can make up the running back in the aggregate. Don't pay running backs. Rookie running backs can save you money, right? You can find one in the 5th round. I'm not changing it completely, but I am saying once you have every other position kind of settled like the Eagles did, your offensive line's studly, your defense is strong, your running back is paid, you have one of the better wide receiver cores, you like your tight end. Once you kind of have everything else figured out, paying a running back makes sense because goodness gracious, Saquon Barkley. That running game is special.
Well, you hit the right word. He is special.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you pay special.
And like Derrick Henry, similarly, going to the Ravens kind of had everything else figured out, and they paid. Then paying that guy makes sense. There are many teams where I don't think it makes sense for, but for those it does. And speaking of bad calls, if Saquon Barkley on the first play, the long touchdown, is going to go near the sideline and cut back in and go score, then I do think you need to give a little bit more grace on the late hit right there on the sideline. The 15-yarder that they called to give him a first down on 3rd when it should have been a stop for Washington. I mean, his foot was hovering out of bounds, touched the grass maybe by a centimeter, called him for the late hit. It's like, well, he did cut back on us and score a long touchdown like not that long ago. He's so special, he can jump over me backwards. I'm supposed to think because it looks like he's going out of bounds, he's going to continue going out of bounds.
The guy probably would have levitated 10 yards for all we know. Let's be real.
I mean, superhero stuff happening. I like the Super Bowl. Everybody else seems to be bummed about the matchup. I'm excited. I want to see it.
Let's be real. You're going to watch.
Of course.
If you hate it, you're going to watch.
Yeah, but I want them to love watch it, not hate watch it.
Yeah, they can hate watch. They're still going to watch.
I want them to love watch it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We have our ladder challenge coming up, the podium, which should be contentious, and much more. But before we do any of that, we have to hear from Dennis Cox.
A lot of winning happening this weekend, and that's right, you can also win. Folks, it's back. Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Law Tigers. You're probably thinking, what's back? It's your chance to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle, folks. It's your chance to win it. Again, this is the 4th straight year that the Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint are teaming up together to give one lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. It's simple to enter, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com for your chance to win. Again, go to caniacsbike.com, enter that way. The bike is going to be given away on the last home game of the Canes season, which is April 13th, if I remember correctly. So you have until April 6th to sign up, but don't wait. Just go to caniacsbike.com right now. It's a gorgeous bike. When you go to caniacsbike.com, you'll see pictures of it. Custom painted, custom built right here in Raleigh by Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson. Custom painted by Shiny Side Paint, which is also located right here in Raleigh. Beautiful white wall tires, Canes colors, Canes logos, everything that you want on the bike. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, caniacsbike.com for your chance to enter. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Ladder challenge coming up next, including why I am very, very upset. Stick around.
The Adam Gold Show.
College sports is undergoing so many changes these days. From the economics to the number of games these guys play, the travel. What we need in college sports is more people like Bubba Cunningham, like a Jim Phillips at the ACC. Guys who have a vision and a compassion for the sport. We don't have enough of those people these days.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
If you needed one more reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler, get this. Diamonds Direct maintains involvement in the entire diamond process and handpicks the best just for you. You see, any jeweler can claim to be a direct importer or have so-called partnerships overseas, but Diamonds Direct has special access that others simply don't have. Nobody can get closer to the source than Diamonds Direct. Indeed, Diamonds Direct is recognized in the industry as a world diamond powerhouse with unrivaled buying power and decades of inside connections that go back to their roots as actual diamond cutters. Bottom line, Diamonds Direct is without question the jeweler here that can truly offer the absolute best value. Make no mistake, Diamonds Direct refuses to be undersold on GIA certified diamonds. And we challenge you, let us prove it. Diamonds Direct, your source for the ultimate diamond value. Official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics. And proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With Venture X, earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy and turn everyday purchases into extraordinary trips. Plus, receive premium travel benefits like access to over 1,300 airport lounges where you just check in and chill out. Open up a world of possibilities with Capital One. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Mark your calendars. Saturday, February 1st for the KO Cancer Fund Celebration Walk at Wakemed Soccer Park. Join us in celebrating survivors, caregivers, and those bravely fighting all cancers affecting women. Your participation funds life-saving research and expands access to quality care for the underserved in our community. Register at KO.com and be part of the movement to transform the narrative around the fight against cancer. Join us today in making a difference at KAYYOW.com.
See if you're a winner every night. Watch live lottery drawings on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. That's right, Carolina Pick 3, Carolina Pick 4, and Carolina Cash 5 numbers every night on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news. See if you're a winner before you go off to bed. Get your lottery numbers live every night.
North Carolina Education Lottery.
Only on WRAL TV's 11 o'clock news.
Cooper chases to the right. He's got it. Draws Spillers into the paint to the rack to throw it down with two hands and stretch the lead to 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We will get to the podium. Talk all kinds of college basketball. It was a busy weekend, busy Saturday for the state of North Carolina in college basketball. But first, we have to get to our ladder challenge and Dennis, I assume your hockey teasing bet did go right.
Yes, it did. You assume correctly, sir.
Yeah, Travis Kelce didn't get 40 yards against Buffalo.
Yeah,
so
what's up with that? He was kind of non-existent out there.
Yeah, do you know what his best play was?
A block?
No, I was going to say he kind of taunted
yeah.
Lattimore and then drew the penalty on Lattimore. Here's the thing. He should have. In that game, I know it's what every gambler says, but I still think I'm on the right side.
It wasn't Marshawn Lattimore. It was listen, Lattimore plays for Washington.
Goodness gracious. Why is this the hardest thing in the world to think of? That's going to frustrate me. Who was he? He got in his face. He did a little wiggle.
Yeah, but then it was a defensive lineman that came in and shoved him.
Yeah, but he was taunting. All right, I'll figure it out during the break. He was taunting somebody. Gosh darn it.
Sorry to ruin your moment there.
All right. It is DeMar Hamlin? Yeah, it was DeMar Hamlin. It was DeMar Hamlin. All right, at least I got that off my brain so I can focus on this. Not that focus helps because I got it wrong. So I'm starting back over with $10. Dennis, you have the lead. Go ahead and start us off.
Oh, yeah, okay. You're back down to $10. Wow. I'm up to 58.
Yeah, I was up to 45 something. Now I'm back down to $10.
You know me, I like my hockey picks here.
I do.
The LA Kings taking on the Detroit Red Wings. LA's on the road in Detroit. Give me LA plus 2.5 goals. So that $58 will turn into $64.40, sir. That's a minus 900 bet.
There you go. I'm just mad at everything right now. So good luck on your hockey bet.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
I'm taking Duke minus 11.5 over NC State. By the way, now that I'm behind, I'm just going to pick I'm going to get as close to minus 500 as I can. Our parameter is minus 500, minus 1,000. So Duke on just a traditional spread is favored by 21 over State tonight.
Okay.
I'm taking Duke, and I'm teasing that down to 11.5. So they have to win by a dozen or more, and that's minus 500, which will turn my $10 into $12. Yeah, it's a long way back.
I'm actually kind of surprised that Travis Kelce did not get 40 receiving yards.
And he had, I think it was 9 right out the gate, and I was like, all right, this will look good. And then every time Buffalo kept it close, I was going, perfect. Then now they're going to keep throwing, perfect. And they just never went to Xavier Worthy had a heck of a day. Great.
Kareem Hunt and James Cook had awesome days.
Juju Smith-Schuster caught a couple of deep balls that would have solved it right there if they went to Travis Kelce.
How about old Mac Hollins?
Old Mac. I mean, if you wear that outfit walking into the stadium, you better catch a touchdown.
I didn't see it, but the dude that pass from Josh Allen to Mac Hollins right over the shoulder.
Okay, right
gorgeous.
now, this will be fun.
Okay.
What I want you to do is just go on X, go on Twitter,
okay,
and search Mac Hollins. I want to on air get your reaction to the outfit he wore walking into the stadium.
Is it that good?
Yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can find this here.
Just search Mac Hollins. It'll be one of the first pictures you see. That's pretty good.
That's
like a demented Elmo with a fiery crop top shirt with
showing off the abs. Good for you, buddy.
For some reason, a chain, not like a chain like a chain necklace, a chain like you would padlock a shed with. Around his hanging from his neck, I guess would be the way to put that.
Yeah, we'll go with it.
His belt it looks like a pirate ship rope, and then he walked in and caught a touchdown in the AFC Championship game.
By the way, the reason why we mentioned Mac Hollins, former UNC player, by the way.
There you go.
2016, part of the Fedora era, folks.
I was going to say, I wonder what he was wearing around, walking around campus. If he had the Elmo head on. Demented Elmo head? The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Let's move on to the podium. Let's get some organization in our lives. The podium, it's a 1-week award. Who had the best week going back to the last time we did this, which was actually on Tuesday of last week because of the holiday. This one, there's off the podium, there's bronze, there's silver, there's gold. The teams eligible are the 4 ACC teams from the state of North Carolina. And it is just about the last week. Off the podium, NC State. NC State has some real issues. They lost at home to a team, an SMU, who, if this was their first loss in a while, if they had won a couple of their last bunch, and then you lose to SMU. I don't know if it's the end of the world. SMU's a middle-of-the-pack team. But you start to look at the schedule. You start to look at the standings. Lost to North Carolina, lost to Virginia Tech. We're going back to their last 4 games. Lost to North Carolina by 2, lost to Virginia Tech by 3, lost to Cal by 3, lost to SMU by 6. Duke coming up tonight, Saturday, Clemson. NC State really, really on the worry list of teams to not make the ACC tournament. Right? The ACC tournament is structured for 15 teams. They added SMU, Cal, and Stanford. They said, we're not adding teams to the ACC tournament. Everybody will not make it. Out of 18 teams, 3 won't make the tournament, and NC State is 4th to last right now with a tough schedule upcoming. Let's hear from Kevin Keatts. Let's hear part of the head coach's description of why that SMU game went the way it did.
You get a little tighter when you start missing shots, and then I start thinking that you're pressing. Like it's so much pressure on our defense to perform, and it's hard because you're playing so hard on the defensive end, and then obviously offensively you're a little bit wore down and you're not able to make shots. And like I said, I thought we had some great looks. I did. I like, when you look at this, I got a couple guys, 1 for 5, 1 for 6, 1 for 5, 1 for 3, and I thought they all had great looks.
That is a nice, maybe softened edge way to say, I can't shoot it for him too. Right? If you're a coach and your players are getting open shots and they're not making them, what do you want me to do? I can't draw up better plays. All right, it's the offensive coordinator that's like, the wide receivers are open. I can't walk out there and throw it for the quarterback. He's got to get it there. Really rough look for NC State, and we got to start talking about them differently, and we will when we talk the NC State Duke game coming up in a little bit. Bronze medal, UNC. This is how brutal everyone outside of Duke has been playing in the ACC, in that I don't have much positive to say about UNC, yet they get the bronze medal because I have nothing to say positive about NC State. Exaggerating, but a little bit. UNC lost at Wake 67-66. It wasn't even that close. It was a 2-possession game. UNC hit a 3 at the buzzer that didn't matter.
Davis, inconsequential.
Then they win at home versus Boston College in overtime, 102-96. Yowzers. Boston College, by the way, is near the bottom of the ACC in the standings in most statistical categories, and UNC needed every bit of an incredible finish to beat them. I've said this before. It's not a talent thing for UNC, especially not in these games. I could see when they play Kansas, when they played, some of their really, really tough non-conference schedule, when they played Duke, you can look at it and go, you know what, they're missing some things talent-wise. It's construction of the roster, meaning where the players fit in, and it's usage of the roster, and it's finding the top of your potential. It's all the frustrating stuff. I still don't get how Drake Powell isn't a bigger impact on the game. Drake Powell, by the way, we talked about this earlier. The last 30 seconds of the game, UNC was as good of a defensive team as we've seen. Last 30 seconds, small sample size, but it does kind of show how good they can be when they want to sell out and they need to get a steal. They need to get a stop. Drake Powell was guarding the inbounder. Guy looked like his wingspan was 12 feet long. He was bouncy. He was up. That is unbelievable. Do that every inbound. Like, I'm only half joking here. Right? It's selling out, all hustle. That's what defense is. Right? Part of it is your natural gifts, right? How quick-footed are you? How athletic are you? What's your body control situation? Can you avoid fouling? Drake Powell, yup. Seth Trimble, absolutely. Ian Jackson, yes. Some of the big guys, yup. May not have power down low, but you can be like pick up full, deny everything. You can do that occasionally. And once they did it at the end of the game, it's what forced overtime. They were down 89-85 in the last minute, and they forced overtime. Do that every time. And if you get tired, okay, then you can pull back on the reins a little bit. Hubert Davis, after the game, talked about the team lacking motivation from start to finish.
I think they have found it when they have needed it. And it's needed at the jump ball.
Yes. Yes. I mean, when you need it, they have found it. I don't even know about that because you're losing a decent amount of games. You didn't find it against Stanford when you needed it, right? It's pretty brutal. As a coach, and maybe this is on coaching, so maybe there's some introspection, but as a coach, I can't think of anything more frustrating than inconsistency, especially in effort and in motivation, because the team will show you we can do it. We've all seen athletes that just couldn't, right? Not strong enough, not fast enough. There are certain things that you're just not going to be able to do, right? If you're a track athlete, you're going up against Usain Bolt. It's not like a lack of effort that's going to make you lose that game, lose that race. UNC will show you for like a 4-minute period, oh yeah, we're talented enough to play with anybody. Then they just won't for the next 10 minutes. That's got to be the most frustrating thing in the world. Can't get away from it. That's bronze. Silver goes to Wake Forest. I thought it was a really good week for Wake Forest. They beat UNC 67-66, but as we said, it wasn't that close. They lost at home to Duke over the weekend by, 7? 63-56?
Yeah. Had a lead in the second half of that game, too.
There's only 2 teams in conference that have led Duke in the second half. And they, I believe, play tomorrow. It's Wake Forest and Louisville.
Okay.
And if you asked me who the second and third best, you can pick the order, team in the ACC has been this year, I would say probably Wake Forest and Louisville. And flip them around, again, whatever you're interested in. If Wake beats Louisville tomorrow, and I think they have another big game, maybe Clemson, you win both of those, that Duke game is something that'll actually become a positive for you in your bubble argument.
It's Pitt after Louisville.
Pitt, no, you're right.
So
Not Clemson,
Louisville
but
tomorrow,
another good team.
Then Pitt.
That's an opportunity for Wake Forest to really make a statement on how good they are. And do you know what I like about the Duke game for Wake Forest? They just said, let's make it a rock fight. They didn't say, hey, we have veterans, we have good guys too, watch us keep up with them. They said, well, what do you think would happen if we showed up to this basketball game with like shoulder pads on, right? And we put mouthpieces in, and we just made this one into a rock fight. Cameron Hildreth got in foul trouble. They found a way. They found a way. I thought it was a good week for Wake. And sometimes, Wake will never say this, and others around the ACC would never say it. But being in a game with a team like Duke is an accomplishment because of how much better they've looked than everyone else in the conference so far. That is silver. Gold, you just heard it there, goes to Duke. They won at Wake. It is one of the weirder things to say out loud, but it's good that they faced adversity. Right? You can't really go out and create adversity. It's good that they faced it, and it's good that they found a way to win. John Shire, after the game, talked about just that, facing adversity as a team against Wake Forest.
I thought it was critical, for us, just to be in as many situations as possible. And even, I don't know which timeout it was, but I think it was maybe when we were down 6. Like, this is where we want to be. We have to be in these situations. And it wasn't panic mode or whatever. We've been watching a ton of game situations. We've talked way more about the mental preparation and the toughness you have to have in these environments, in these games. And these guys executed. So I think it was a really important step for us, just with our toughness. And, hopefully it's something where we can carry that momentum forward.
They get the gold medal. And that's the podium here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. It's rare that this happens, so we're just gonna move right into it. Our gold medalist and our off the podium play tonight. It is opposite ends of the spectrum. You know what NC State has? Tonight against Duke is a microcosm of the rest of their season. It is a miniature version of the rest of their season. It's wildly unlikely that you're going to win the game, just like it is wildly unlikely that you're going to turn your season into anything of note. But there is the possibility, and if you go out there and you slay the Goliath, things might change. NC State lost to SMU, as we just talked about. They're in serious jeopardy of missing the ACC tournament, which would be catastrophic. To go from winning the ACC tournament last year to not even getting an invite this year would be all-time catastrophic. So I mean, we talk about, and we've had to say it a lot this year because the teams have not been performing well. By any means, throw the kitchen sink at them. Tonight is that night. Tonight is that night. Do whatever you can. Duke is the best team in the ACC, and it's by a distance of significance right there. The advanced analytics will tell you there's a gap there. There is a gap there. And I'm not sure NC State has an obvious, weak. I'm trying to think of the best way to say this. Most of the time when a big upset happens, and this would be a big upset, they're 21, 22-point favorites. Most of the time when a big upset happens, in basketball, there's the one player that is kind of the catalyst. Right? I love going back and looking at teams that made who would have saw that coming NCAA tournament runs, and then 10 years later, it's they had a $100 million NBA player on that team. Right? It's remember Butler's teams? How are they pulling this off? Gordon Hayward is a legitimate all-star. Wichita State, what an underdog story. Fred VanVleet is still making $40 million a year in the NBA. What was it? Lehigh upsets Duke. It's there's CJ McCollum. There's usually a player where it kind of makes sense once you figure it out. I'm not sure NC State has the player that makes it make sense to pull off a big upset. DJ Burns was really good last year. Looking at this year's team, I don't know if they have the leading scorer there. Matter of fact, it's a way that I think I and many have to stop thinking about this NC State team. For a long time, I was screaming, who is the guy that's going to take over and be their leading scorer? Who is the guy that has main character energy? When the game is on the line and you need a bucket, who are you going to? How are they going to decide? And then when will everybody else begin to trust that person? Now my question, looking at NC State, becomes more of, do they have anyone worthy of being the leading scorer? They might just not have that dude. They might not have that. I mean, I'm not saying they don't have guys that want to score. I just don't know if they have anyone capable of 20 points per game for a significant period of time in the ACC. That's tough. And if you are questioning your offensive identity, which I think they're doing, right? If you question your offensive identity, like I think that program is doing right now, Duke is the last team you want to see. The length, the wingspan, the rotation, the defensive intensity, the system, they're pretty good. And now they apparently have a zone they can go to.
They decided to go ahead. Let's go to the zone defense.
That's a wild move by Shire. They apparently hadn't practiced it at all. And against Wake, he felt like they needed a zone, so they went to a Duke 3 and it worked. Yeah, it's funny. He said post game he went, "Yeah, we did one possession of a game earlier this season. That was about it." He asked Cooper Flagg at the post game press conference, "Have you ever played zone?" And Cooper was like, "No." Which is crazy, but I guess when you're always the most elite team, because he's always playing with the EYBL super duper AAU teams, you just bombard the opposing team with athleticism, and you never have to go to the 1-3-1 zone that we all had to go to when we were playing the better athletic and bigger teams. It's wild.
Do you think Duke makes the slip up and looks ahead to Carolina on Saturday? That's an easy thing to do. Hey, you got your real big rival coming in this Saturday.
Maybe.
Battle of the Blues, all that stuff.
No.
You don't think so?
No, maybe if they didn't have the Wake Forest game. But you were down like multiple scores in the second half a couple days ago. I think that's enough to wake them up. And also, it's one of the differences of this year's team. Last year, I over and over and over again, we would do a ACC cons and cons. What are you most confident in? What are you most concerned about? My concern with Duke all season was the edge, right? The intensity, right? They had all the talent, right? They had future NBA guys. They had length. They had height. They could shooting, like they could do it. But I just looked at it and went, every time there's something going against them, they're whining, they're complaining. That doesn't happen this year. They it's kind of a weird move, but when Cooper Flagg dunks it, he does this weird, like I'm hanging by one hand and his hand is hanging kind of by his thighs. It's a weird move, but it's definitely something that comes with a little bit more aggression. They seem like they want to bury people, which I think is good. That's what you should be trying to do in those situations. You want a fun little tidbit going into this game?
What's that?
I don't know how this came up on my social media feed. I don't follow her, but Con Knipple, the stud 5-star recruit freshman for Duke, his mother on Twitter tweeted, growing up, we would always cheer for State. Since her grandpa, which would be Con Knipple's great-grandpa, since her grandpa, Bud Rose, was the first All-American hooper for the Wolfpack. No longer, she says, let's go Duke. I went and looked it up. The grandpa named Bud Rose was their first All-American honorable mention. Back in the 1931-32 season, NC State got their first All-American nod of any kind from Arthur Bud Rose, which is apparently Con Knipple's great-grandfather.
Wow.
And now he's playing for Duke against State.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Way to turn against family.
I was just going to say, a little legacy. I'm sure State's like, why didn't we tell him that we needed to keep the legacy alive?
Where's that on the recruiting pitch?
Yeah, that's a deep pull, 1931-32 season. But it just adds a little bit of intrigue.
You think State can give him a run of any kind tonight? Seriously.
My instinct is saying no.
Yeah.
I don't think they have the offensive firepower. I think it would.
Unless they do what Wake did and just make it dirty in a half-court game.
Yeah, I don't think they have the veteran cohesiveness that Wake Forest had to weather some of the storms and kind of keep playing. I'm looking at this at NC State going like, try to score 60. Like let's set some small score 60 and we'll go from there, because Wake didn't even do that, right? Wake came away with 57. So it's NC State's not playing great right now. I don't want to pile on, but this is one that could get away from them if they're not careful. They're 20-plus point underdogs. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for Bailey's Fine Jewelry. If you're looking for a pre-owned Rolex, Bailey's, and more specifically the Fox & Bailey watch shop that I keep telling you to go check out because it's an awesome area. They have the vibe, they have the music, they have the drinks. If you want to go, Fox & Bailey has you covered when it comes to pre-owned Rolexes. As your trusted dealer and buyer of pre-owned Rolex watches, Fox & Bailey offers top-quality pieces with confidence and integrity. If you're thinking about trading in or selling your watch, they can be your go-to destination for that as well. With decades of trust and expertise, they make buying or selling your pre-owned Rolex easy and transparent. When you start talking about some of those bigger transactions, you want trustworthiness, right? You want expert to help you out, and that's exactly what they have there. They are the largest in the state of North Carolina when it comes to pre-owned and vintage Rolex selection. It's fun. They have all the ones with the nicknames you're looking for, the color schemes, the dials, the bezels, all of the Explorers, the day dates. It's all there. So go ahead and check them out. Fox & Bailey Watch Shop, located inside Bailey's Fine Jewelry at their Village District location in Raleigh. And when you're there to check out the pre-owned Rolex, make sure they know you heard about it right here on The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. There's a massive trade in the NHL over the weekend in which one of the best players in the league, Mikko Rantanen, ended up on the Carolina Panthers. Well, they could use him. He's got the size, 6'4", 220. But on the Carolina Hurricanes, we hear from Aanif Deen, who covers the Avalanche, which is where Rantanen comes from for Colorado Hockey Now, coming up next. Stick around.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Eagles' run game is based on the offensive line. Saquon Barkley does a great job with making second and third level defenders miss, but he's 15, 20 yards downfield. He doesn't get touched for 20 yards. I have a hard time saying that guy is the most important player on the team when nobody touches him for 2 first downs.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
April breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
A few contest rules from sports radio stations The Fan, The Buzz. No purchase necessary. 21 to enter and play. Limited to 1 entry per person and 1 prize winner per family or household per contest every 30 days. Employees of Capital Broadcasting, its agencies, sponsors, subsidiaries, other broadcast companies, and immediate families of the above are ineligible to play. Winners are verified, complete documentation, and are responsible for all taxes and prizes received. All prizes are non-transferable and cannot be redeemed for cash. Winners give sports radio the right to publicize his or her name, likeness, or voice. Sports may change contest rules and prizes at any time and holds no liability for canceled or postponed events. Complete info of sports radio contests available at WRALSportsFan.com or during normal business hours at 3100 Highwoods Boulevard in Raleigh.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Out in front to score! Aho trying to set up Rantanen, and he'll take a bounce for Carolina, and it's a 2-0 lead as Aho gets his 16th of the season and a good break for the Canes.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Canes fans, you already know. Those of you that have been living under a rock, maybe you're camping this weekend. Mikko Rantanen is a Carolina Hurricane, as is Taylor Hall. Martin Necas, Jack Drury, they're now Colorado Avalanche. And to give us the other side of the story, right? We know what it looks like from the Canes side. Everybody seems to be jacked up about it. Aanif Deen, who covers the Avalanche for Colorado Hockey Now, also hosts Ringside with Aanif Deen for Mile High Sports, is joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline. Aanif, thank you for joining us. I'm sure your head is spinning in a similar way to ours after that kind of a trade not long ago. What is your level of surprise? I mean, we'll just start there, right? It seems like everybody was kind of taken aback by this. Are you as surprised as we are on this end?
Absolutely. There is no other way around it. Mikko Rantanen it's one of those guys, like, he's not Nathan McKinnon and Kel McCarr, yes, but he's one of those guys that you never imagined would leave. It felt very much like Gabe Landeskog 3 years ago before his injuries, or 4 years ago now, when he was entering the last year of his contract. And we went into that season like, yeah, he's just going to sign at some point and all's going to be well. Like, this guy is not leaving this team. I could not stress enough how surprised I am.
How has it been justified? I think most people, right, even if you're not like into the salary cap details, You look at this and just say he's so good you don't let him leave. How has Colorado justified a trade that has maybe one of the 10 best players in the league leaving your team when you're a projected playoff team?
So it's ultimately the money part is it's the big thing. It's exactly what I just said in the sense that, look, Mikko Rantanen, you can argue the exact number, but say number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, he's a top 6 through 9 player in the NHL in my eyes, arguably somewhere in that range. Unfortunately for him, he's number 3 on the Avalanche. That's what makes it so tough. Like, if the Edmonton Oilers, in some fantasy world, the Edmonton Oilers had Connor McDavid, who they have to sign, and they had a defenseman of Cale Makar's ilk, let's say, I don't know, Quinn Hughes, and they had to give him a big contract too, it would be a lot harder to pay Leon Draisaitl. That's where the Avalanche were. It was that Draisaitl got $14 million, knowing that there's one guy on your team that's going to get at or around that number. Mikko Rantanen was reportedly asking for $14 million, knowing that Nathan MacKinnon's at 12.6, and Cale Makar, as McKinnon said, might make 20, but more realistically, 15.5 million. It becomes way harder to kind of put that team together. And I think when you're Chris McFarland, you combine that with the fact that, look, the reality of the Avalanche is since the Stanley Cup championship run, number one, they were one of the teams that they kind of got screwed with the COVID flat cap because unlike the Florida Panthers, like the Panthers won the cup last year, saw a $5 million boost in the salary and are about to see another 7 and then another 6, somewhere around those numbers. The Avalanche didn't get that. They won the cup in 22, saw a $1 million boost, and then another $1 million boost, and now finally a $5 million boost. So if you look at this Avalanche team since the Stanley Cup in 22, Nathan MacKinnon has done otherworldly things. Mikko Rantanen has done nothing but put up 105 and 104 points. He's on pace for another 103 this year. Cale Makar has done nothing but break defensive records and put up 90 points casually. Every year is flirting with, the possibility of hitting 100. And despite those 3 guys doing otherworldly things, the lack of depth has done this team in. And right now, they're 7th place in the West. So even as an own rental, if you're Chris McFarland, you're looking at the standings and you're saying, I don't even think keeping Mikko Rantanen as an own rental is going to help us win a Stanley Cup. There needs to be a refresh and a reset, because if we give him the money that he wants or anywhere close to that, we are going to continue to be the team we were in 23 and 24. We're going to have 3 players breaking records. We're going to have some solid depth pieces like Lehkonen and Taves, and we're going to lose in the second round of the playoffs. So kind of combining all of those things together, I think it was a perfect opportunity for McFarland to say, and obviously Joe Sakic, let's do a reset here. Let's reallocate the dollars, and let's trust that our pro scouts can continue to do what they've done the last 5 years and find the next pieces that fit.
Aanif Deen joining us on the Heister Automotive Group hotline, covers the Avalanche for Colorado Hockey Now. That's the previous team of brand new Carolina Hurricane-Mikko Rantanen. Aanif, I'm as somebody that pays attention to the Canes and wants Mikko to sign a long-term extension with the Canes, you're throwing around some numbers. I was reading your article earlier today, and I took this quote out of there. This is his time to pounce on a league-altering deal, 14, 15 million for some guys you just mentioned. With what you know about Rantanen, obviously spending time with him and how he handles his business, do you see the possibility of him signing an extension for anything less than maybe the most per year in NHL history?
By much anymore. Like, the reality with these types of players, if he was going to stay with the Avalanche, and you've probably seen the quotes by now, there's been 2 or 3 articles written about it. He has said, I was willing to take below market value to remain with the Avalanche, without getting into specifics, and nobody really knows what that number is. But now that this loyalty part has been taken away, ultimately his heart has been broken. Mikko Rantanen is in shock. I watched the Carolina versus Islanders game the other day, and I've never seen him look so stoic and serious-faced, even on the bench. He's an intense player, but he's a bubbly guy. I didn't see it in the locker room. I didn't see it in the game. Outside of that one photo with him and Sebastian Aho kind of chuckling with each other, he's really, really hurt by this as much as anybody else is, as much as Avalanche fans are feeling. And I think that makes me feel like the loyalty aspect of everything is all out the door. Mikko Rantanen now is going to get market value. I think with the Avalanche, given the relationship, given the team, the history, the Stanley Cup, the homegrown talent, he would have been willing, like other stars do, to give a little bit of a discount. But once he gets to Carolina, like outside of winning the Stanley Cup and feeling like I can't leave here, similar to, I don't know, Sam Reinhart last year, like I can't see him wanting to take much of a discount. I genuinely feel if his production continues in Carolina the way it did in Colorado, which is going to be hard because no disrespect to the Hurricanes, Makar and McKinnon aren't riding shotgun with you anymore. If his production continues and if he has an excellent playoffs, whether Carolina goes all the way or not, I can see him going into free agency, and with the agent that he has and the fact that it's the same as Draisaitl, I can see him signing a 7-year deal, even if it's at 14.2, just something to say I've taken the next step in that contract. But obviously this is all speculation. He could love it there. He's got Kotkaniemi, he's got Aho, he's got the Finns there, he's got Tyson Jost, he's got Sean Walker. Rod Brindamore's a guy that I wholeheartedly believe he's going to fall in love with. And he might like it and say, you know what, this is my new home. And whatever he was willing to take with the Avs, he entertains it with Carolina. But I just feel like that lack of that motivation to make more money is there now because of that lack of like having any kind of loyalty to a team right now.
You bring up, right, he's no longer skating with McKinnon. Obviously, McKinnon's going to present and set up a lot of opportunities for those that share the ice with him. Is Mikko ready to kind of be the number one and maybe fly on his own? We see this in sports all the time where it's like I don't want to be the second fiddle to anybody. I'm ready to take over my own kind of be the lead singer, if you will.
So I go back and forth on it. We saw in 2023, we saw Rantanen really take off. That was the year that Nathan McKinnon dealt with a lot of injuries. Cale Makar dealt with a lot of injuries. The Avs were decimated, and Mikko went out and scored 55 goals, had 105 points, talked to media every day. He was like legitimately the captain that season. It was impressive what he had done. But outside of that, like you don't see it as much. Like when he's relegated to a line, and when I say relegated, I mean Bednar just shaking things up, where he plays, let's say, with Lehkonen and Middlestat. His numbers take a dip as compared to when he's playing with McKinnon. Or let me say this, his 5-on-5 numbers take a dip because on the power play, he's always riding shotgun with Nate and Mikko, or with Nate and Cale. So I'm really curious what kind of player he's going to be. Do I expect him to fall completely off the grid like Jonathan Huberdeau? Like, no, absolutely not. But I wonder if without the Avalanche organization, he's more of an 85 to 95 point player. And the ice time he was getting, like I know Rod Brindamore isn't a big fan of playing, his top guys that much as compared to Jared Bednar when he has the talent at the top. Marty Necas played 25 minutes, 6 hours after waking up to, get traded. Like it was very fascinating to see the differences there. So I'm kind of holding judgment as of right now, but I do think Rantanen on his own, if he's the start player, if he's playing with guys like Aho instead of McKinnon, he could still be a consistent 45 goal, 45 assist kind of player. I just don't know if he's going to be 110 point guy without that power play, which has kind of struggled a little bit lately, but without McKinnon and Makar playing 23, 24, 25 minutes a night with him.
Aanif Deen hosts Rinkside with Aanif Deen for Mile High Sports. Check it out. Aanif, before we let you go, last one. You brought up one of them. We're very familiar with the ups and downs and the goods and bads of Martin Necas and Jack Drury. What has been the reaction to the return for a player like Mikko?
It's been on and off, like good and bad. Some people see it as this is not enough for an all-star caliber player. Others see it as exactly what it is. Eric Tulsky's making a massive risk here, trading guys that are more cost-controlled. Granted, Mitch only has another year in his deal, but Jack Drury's an RFA and a couple of draft picks for a player that, as we discussed, might not even stay. So it is a little bit of a gamble there on his end, but it's also one worth making, just given where the Hurricanes have been the last 3, 4, 5 seasons, getting over the hump. I personally think, I still go back and forth. I think if you were able to lock up Rantanen for $11.75, like Friedman reported, or $12 million even, it would have made sense, and that would have been the best reality. But given the circumstances, given Cale Makar's impending contract, McKinnon's current deal, getting Necas and Drury, and really shoring up your depth and now having more playable guys, I think was the best case scenario. And the draft picks, those are pieces that, McFarland's going to ship out the door to get more, players in and continue this run that the Avalanche are on. I also look at the Avs as a team that's been awesome with pro scouting. Like Jonathan Drouin, like Marty Netches is a 60 to 70 point player on the Carolina Hurricanes. Jonathan Drouin with Nathan MacKinnon has turned into a 60 to 70 point player, and he was never that. So what is he going to turn? We saw it with Andre Burakovsky. We've seen it with Nichushkin. We've seen it with guys like Devon Taves, where the Avalanche find these players and really have them take that next step. So Marty Natchez is one. Jack Drury is another. Like, if the Avalanche really feel like they have good fits here, I'm genuinely curious to see how much those players elevate their game. And when you mix that with what we just talked about, of maybe Rantanen's production comes down because he's not playing with MacKinnon, this trade might look a lot more even in 2 to 3 years than it does now. So I believe this was the best case scenario. This was a great scenario for the hand that they were dealt. But I'm still blown away. Like, the aura of Mikko Rantanen is unlike any other. It's insane to me to think that he's no longer part of the Avs.
Aanif, we appreciate you for taking the time, and hopefully we're able to catch up again soon.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
Once again, Aanif Deen covering the Avalanche. You can follow him on Twitter at RunRightAarif. That is RunWriteAarif. That's X or Twitter, whatever you call it. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on, Tim Donnelly here for DraftKings Sportsbook. The playoffs, you darn right, the playoffs are still going on. You bet we're going to talk about the playoffs. Get in on the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Scoring touchdowns is key to winning in the playoffs, and you can score big by betting on them at DraftKings, the #1 place to bet touchdowns. Rushing touchdowns were the soup du jour of this past weekend. Seemed like everybody was getting a rushing touchdown. Quarterbacks, running backs, everybody. So if you're ready to place your first bet, that might be a good place to start. Try betting on something simple, like a player to score 6, maybe a running back. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app and make your pick. We're talking Saquon, James Cook. They all scored a bunch of them. New DraftKings customers can bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code TIMD. That's code TIMD with no spaces for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 877-185-543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus, North Carolina only. Eligibility restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio. We'll take a break. When we come back, the starting 5, including a Panther, will make the Pro Bowl after all. Stick around.
Listen for the Did He Just Do That?
Johnson trying to step back for a 3. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damask from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The Get That Out of Here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports Leader.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy. And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time, and the month of January marks the 45th anniversary of bold flavors, southern hospitality, and all of the timeless classics you get at Triangle Area Bojangles. In 1980, Triarch Food Systems, Inc. opened their first Bojangles in Selma, North Carolina, a welcoming place to come together and enjoy some made-from-scratch goodness. Here's to 45 years, and many more to come. Thank you, Selma. It's always bow time.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm WRAL meteorologist Mike Mays. It's just a small chance for a shower early this evening. Clearing overnight, cool, the low temperature 34. Back to sunshine for your Tuesday and warmer 60. Sunshine and breezy on Wednesday, even warmer in the high 67.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell, up 289 points to 44,713.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time for the starting 5, so let's go ahead and jump into it, starting with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Toss it to the left side. Barkley's got a lane to the 50, to the 45. Spin move to the 40. Barkley still going. Zigzags inside. 20, 15, 10. Touchdown. Saquon Barkley. He is incredible.
Yeah, that was pretty impressive. You know what? Let's just give the credit where it's due. First play of the game, Saquon Barkley goes 60 yards for a touchdown with a spin move and a cutback, and that guy's pretty good. The Super Bowl is set. It's Eagles, Chiefs. You know what's kind of crazy? Almost feels like there was only one loser this weekend. And it's the Bills. Because the Commanders are so much gravy, right? That they're so far ahead of schedule. They had a rookie quarterback. They shouldn't have been in the conference championship anyway, based on having a rookie quarterback and where they were, picking second overall last year. So they lose the game and give up 55 to the Eagles, but they still walk away like, hey, look at how far we've come. Now we have a foundation. The other side, not the same. Josh Allen in the postgame looked like a battered and bruised and beaten ego and everything else. Just down. And I get it. Here's my question. If we put this Buffalo squad in the NFC, how many Super Bowls have they been to in the last 5 years?
4.
Then he just keeps losing to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right?
Is it any different? Loses, heartbreaking. The AFC NFC thing is one that I'm fascinated by. I just think if you want to make the Super Bowl, it's easier in the NFC. There's been 6 quarterbacks to make it in the AFC in the last 20 years. Sheesh. Jalen Hurts has now made it to 2 Super Bowls. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow combined have made it to 1. It's crazy to me. But credit to the Chiefs, right? They win the game, they make it happen. And I'm not even entertaining the conspiracy theories right now. If you think the refs did it on purpose, you can go deal with that by yourself. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Bryce under center. Chuba's the deep back. Snap. Give it to Chuba. Chuba inside the 10. 5. Slides into the end zone. Touchdown Panthers. He spikes the ball, and Carolina's got a lead.
How did you pick which running highlight to use for this?
Because I already had it pulled, that's why.
Robert Hunt is a Pro Bowler. Offensive guard for the Carolina Panthers, so they will not be completely absent from the Pro Bowl.
Let's go.
This is kind of the alternates were named, and Robert Hunt was already knew he was an alternate. All you needed was, somebody to make it to the Super Bowl that was a Pro Bowler, or somebody to be hurt, or somebody to just not want to go. And Landon Dickerson of the Eagles needed a replacement because he's going to the Super Bowl. Robert Hunt got the call up from the bullpen. I know that the Pro Bowl isn't the Pro Bowl. It stinks. And I vent about this probably too much, but I grew up going to the Pro Bowl. I lived in Hawaii, and it was back when they actually played. It was really cool. So I have nostalgia for back when it was treated like a game. I think being named a Pro Bowler matters. It's basically an honor, right? And now they go and play tug of war and dodgeball and stuff. So it's really not a event that has a meaning anymore. But I think having, Pro Bowler next to your name, 3-time Pro Bowler, 4 times Pro Bowler, that matters. And these guys are competitive, and they want to go, rub shoulders with the best, and they want to be in that group. And it gives you a certain cachet in the locker room when you come back. Right? Now I'm a Pro Bowler for the Panthers. So I think it's good for the Panthers. Do I think it's world changing? No. But I think it's good to reward the players that get it done. How about this? Ready? Next year, aim for 2 Pro Bowlers. Huh? Next year, a true Pro Bowler, not an alternate. How about that, huh? By the way, you want to just one more, hear me out. Because going into the Hall of Fame, and I say this often, same with All-Star Games, same with whatever. You do go he's a 10-time Pro Bowler. So don't say it doesn't matter. Right? It helps you get certain places. I think it should be different if you make it as an alternate or a first choice. I think there should be some kind of, I hate the word asterisk, but it should be like a Pro Bowl A, a 4-time Pro Bowler, 6-time Pro Bowl alternate that made it into the game. There should be something different because getting in as the original vote, that's the real accomplishment. So Robert Hunt should be a Pro Bowl alternate, along with many others. I just get Mac Jones was a Pro Bowler. Mitch Trubisky was a Pro Bowler. I'm going well, kind of. 17 other guys had to turn it down before they got chosen.
Tyrone Huntley was a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, exactly.
The backup quarterback with 2 touchdowns.
That shouldn't be the same as somebody being picked first. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Cadeau to R.J. Davis. Gets a clean look from 3. Count it from straight away. R.J. Davis with the huge triple.
UNC basketball beat Boston College in overtime on Saturday. I'm wondering if the fact that UNC has a handful of unbelievable basketball players, meaning the R.J. Davises, the Ian Jacksons, if that hasn't masked and maybe prevented them from some tough conversations. Because if you I'll bring them up right now. If you look up the ACC basketball standings as they stand right now, right? UNC is not in the bottom portion, right? They are 6-3 in conference. That's not the end of the world, right? And that might indicate all right, we're doing some things that need. The other side of it is, well, you needed overtime to beat Boston College, right? Oh, you beat NC State by 2, and they haven't won a game since. You beat Notre Dame by 1, and that was an unbelievable 4-point play from Elliot Cadeau. The fact that just on talent and kind of raw ability alone, they're able to pull out a lot of these games, has prevented them from hitting like rock bottom, right? And a lot of people don't change until they hit rock bottom. Hubert Davis in the postgame made a few comments after the Boston College game where I was like, whoa, does anybody realize how big of a deal that is? And nobody really did because it was after a win. Here's Hubert Davis talking about the execution being great late and in overtime, but not the whole game.
I felt like we were locked in defensively. We got the stops that we needed, the deflections, the steals that we needed to be able to get us back in the game and eventually be able to win it. I felt like the execution offensively down the stretch was on point in terms of our spacing, our screening. We made shots. They stepped up, and I was really proud of them for being able to do that in a pressure situation. But all the minutes leading up to that, just disappointed.
That's a big deal to me, man.
Not mad, disappointed.
Oh, he went the parent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not angry. I'm not mad. You're not in trouble. I just thought we raised you better than that. I'm disappointed. The thing is, like, after a win, it doesn't feel as big of a deal. If you had lost maybe the Notre Dame game, the state game, and this game, then you're at rock bottom and you're going, we're not playing full games. We have stretches where we look like we are what our talent says we should be, and we're not doing it for full games. And sometimes you do, and I hate the saying. Sometimes like a bad, horrendous, ugly loss is what's best for a team. People are saying that about Ohio State football. Just won the national championship. The Michigan loss was the best thing that could have happened to them. I'm like, Michigan is a bad football team, and they bullied you. That's the best thing that ever happened. It's like, because they learned nobody's going to bully them again. I don't know about that one, but I guess it's true, right? Because if you escape with a win, maybe you don't make the necessary changes that spur you to the national championship. UNC being 6-3 in conference and being kind of in that second tier maybe might be preventing them from being harsh enough with themselves to really fix it. Right? I say all the time, it's easier to coach after a loss. Coaches or players are thirsting for the fix. After a win, can't tell me nothing if you're a player, right? That's the stereotype. UNC needs to fix some things. I don't care that you won the game against Boston College, right? As I said, I have the standings up right here. Guess what Boston College is? The second worst team in the ACC, ahead of only Miami, and Miami's coach quit on him in the middle of the season. Boston College is not a team that should take UNC to overtime. They're not a team that should take UNC to within double digits in the last handful of minutes. That's bad. Right? It's if you listen to Next Up, the morning show we have here on 99.9 The Fan with Paul Ihander and Graham Hill, one of their sayings is, you got to call your baby ugly. UNC has to call their wins ugly. Don't put lipstick on a pig of a win doesn't make you any better. That effort beats none of the top teams in the ACC. That's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us.
Cooper chases to the right. He's got it. Draws Spillers into the paint to the rack to throw it down with 2 hands and stretch the lead to 4.
NC State, Duke tonight. I believe it's an 8:30 opening tip.
Listen to it. If you want the state broadcast, it's over on Mix 101.5. If you want the Duke broadcast, it's on Buzz Sports Radio.
There you go. Let me ask you this, Dennis.
Okay.
Is NC State close to using up all the goodwill they banked from last year's?
Yeah.
I think they are too.
I think especially they are in danger of missing the ACC tournament. Again, not the NCAA tournament, the ACC tournament. You have to finish either 16th, 17th, or 18th out of 18 teams to miss the ACC tournament. They're in danger of that.
And there are 2 teams whose coaches have left their program within 2 weeks of the season starting or after the season started. So right now, if you look at the ACC standings, there are the bottom 4 are all the way at the bottom Miami. Their coach quit in the middle of the season.
Yeah.
Then there's Boston College. We just talked about how they're not anything to write home about. Then there's UVA. Their coach left, 2 weeks before the season started?
Yeah, during training camp.
And then there's NC State. NC State is a half game above Virginia, and if they fall that half game below, they're out of the ACC tournament, and their next 2 games are Duke and Clemson, who you could argue are 2 of the 3 or 4 best teams in the conference. There's fans say stuff all the time. They say things like, if you give me 1 ACC championship and a Final Four run, then you're good. Then we can stink for a while. I just want to see it one time. That's not true, right? The example I always use is Doug Peterson, right? How many times in Philly do you think Eagles fans said, if we win just 1 Super Bowl, I'll be happy for life. If we just win 1 Super Bowl before I die, that person will be a hero. Doug Peterson won a Super Bowl for the Eagles against the Tom Brady Patriots with a backup quarterback. He was fired 3 seasons later. All that goodwill. They built a statue for him. All that goodwill. Do you know how many losing seasons he had in Philly? 1. And they fired him after it. He went Super Bowl, winning season, losing season, fired. NC State may felt like, hey, the goodwill from that run is going to last us a lifetime. You don't make the ACC tournament the following year, that goodwill is used up. Lit on fire. Gone. Duke, on the other hand, they have to find, this is another game in conference where they're favored by 20 plus, right? I think it's 21.5, 22, depending on where you look. This is another game where they have to find a way to set themselves up for postseason success. How can they get better? Win and, right? The Wake Forest game was a real test for them that they won over the weekend. They were trailing by, 6 in the second half? That's a game that they had to figure out how to win. Malawash didn't play much. Sion James didn't play much, and those are their physical dudes, right? They're 7'2" and their linebacker. Duke out-rebounded. They out-rebounded Wake by a bunch. They defended really, really well. They found a way to win. I'm not sure you're going to get that same test against against NC State tonight. I'm not sure you're going to get that same, hey, that was playoff intensity. Still have to find a way to win. Find a way to win and. What else can you do? It's going to be a rivalry. It's going to be cross-town. There's going to be some of that built in. Not as much as maybe other matchups, but there will be some of that built in. Maybe that's something you can learn about. Maybe that's something you can build off of. I know people are tired of hearing it, but it's becoming more obvious. Cooper Flagg's the best player in the country. And having that helps. He actually started the Wake game, I would say, not great. He had 5 turnovers and 2 or 3 missed threes in the first 10 or 15 minutes of the game to settle in and finish with 24, 7, 6 and a block, and did a lot of really good things. That's the maturity is growing for the freshman. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go 1! Now a long stretch pass. Kokimi puts it out, shot right on, and they score! New number, and another goal for Jack Roslovic. Number 98 gets his 18th of the season and a 1-0 lead for Carolina.
How about Eric Tulsky and the Carolina Hurricanes? Eric Tulsky, their GM, traded for Mikko Rantanen on Friday, including also traded for Taylor Hall.
And Taylor Hall. Let's not forget that guy either.
A couple of guys that have some pretty impressive trophies in their personal mantle, wherever they keep them. I don't know. Trophy room. This is a move that I don't think many expected the Carolina Hurricanes to make. And I'm not saying about Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall specifically. I'm saying the all-in move that, quite frankly, puts some of the things that you built upon in the future at risk, right? If Mikko Rantanen doesn't re-sign with the Carolina Hurricanes before the open market, this trade becomes one that you look back on and go, was it smart? But the risk is to me, the reward is worth the risk, right? The reward is worth the risk. And what they gave up, the draft picks, we know that the Canes have a pretty good drafting record, and maybe that turns into something. But Martin Necas and Jack Drury, you make that move every time. To bring back Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall, you make that move every time. And it's not like, we talked not long ago with Aanif Deen, who covers the Avalanche for Colorado Hockey Now, and it's part of the justification that the Avalanche are using for moving Rantanen is we got these guys on cost control. Necas is on a deal for another year and a half. Let's not act like he's on a 7-year deal at like a super low rate. You get Rantanen for half a year, you give up Necas for a year and a half, you get Jack Drury, who's still on kind of his early season rookie stuff. It's just, I think this deal is like a slam dunk no-brainer. And that's not to say it doesn't come with its risks. That's to say it comes with abnormally high rewards. And I think the Canes have a pretty good recruiting pitch, right? We've talked about Eric Tulsky. He's kind of making the rounds, as he should. This guy should go on every podcast and every show. He was on our network with Adam Gold earlier today. He should to like enjoy it, lap it up. You made a really good move. Go out there and talk about it. But he said a few times, like, this is now our chance to convince Mikko Rantanen that this is the place he wants to be long term, right? We now have a half a season and a postseason run to show him why this is the spot he should want to be. Show him why Sebastian Aho is the guy who's also a fellow Finnish player who they've known each other since they were in juniors. He is the player that you should want to grow old aside as you play your Stanley Cup windows out.
Say, hey, Sebastian has chosen to stay here long term. So should you.
There you go.
Svechnikov, Slavin, these guys, Jarvis, all decided to stay here long term. You can be here with those guys.
After long postseason runs that end hopefully in cups and lots of celebration, there'll be somebody who can catch the flight to Finland with you. Right? Like it's a good recruiting pitch. Rod Brindamore, we played the audio earlier. Taylor Hall, who's been, what is this, his 7th or 8th team in the NHL. You could tell in his voice how excited he was to play for Rod Brindamore based on his reputation around the league. Players know there's something to offer here in Carolina. We have that Taylor Hall audio queued up right here, so let's go ahead and play it for you.
He's awesome. You can tell he's into every game. He's into every shift, and he sets a high standard here, and that's what you want from a coach. And I think he's someone where you have to build his trust, and once you get it, he believes in you, and there's nothing more that you want from a coach. I have talked to a lot of guys and heard nothing but good things. Not only as a coach, mentor, but just as a guy and as a motivator. That's exciting for me.
You're darn right that's exciting. Now we just need Mikko Rantanen to agree with all of that, right? It becomes the recruiting pitch from this point forward. And again, we talked about the Aanif Deen who covers the Avs. Even he said, right, he didn't sound like Mikko Rantanen was going to give the Canes, he thought Mikko Rantanen would give the Canes any kind of like, hey, yeah, go ahead and make me an offer. They thought he made it sound like Rantanen was going to hit the open market and maybe, best highest bidder type thing. But he did say, barring a Stanley Cup win, and then you're like, I can't leave now. Heck, if you got to win the Cup to keep him, go win the Cup. You have the talent, you have the ability, and now you have the high-level winger who's consistently produced 100-plus points over the last 2.5 seasons. I felt like that was something missing that you needed to win a cup. Now you have it. No more excuses. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We're going to grab contestants for the numbers game in a second, but first, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. I want you to win something. And I'm going to give you the chance, or tell you how the chance, to get it done. The Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint, they're all teaming up together once again to give one lucky Caniac a custom Caniacs motorcycle. I can't win it, but you can. If you can enter at caniacsbike.com, that's your chance. You'll see pictures of the bike right there on the website. Again, caniacsbike.com, custom painted with logos and colors of the Canes, beautiful white wall tires. Again, a custom-built motorcycle, truly one of a kind. I can't win it, but you can. And if you win the bike, you let me know. We'll go out and we'll ride together. Deadline to enter is April 6th, folks, with the bike being given away on the ice at the last home game of the year for the Canes. But don't wait. Go to caniacsbike.com, again, for your chance to win this custom motorcycle. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, you can win it. I can't. You can. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, needs numbers game contestants. That's right. And we have a pretty sweet prize going to the winner of the numbers game. The winner of the numbers game will receive Jason Aldean tickets. Jason Aldean is coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park in Raleigh on August 21st for the Full Throttle Tour with special guests Nate Smith, Ray Lynn, and DJ Silver. Tickets are on sale this Friday. That's the 31st at 10 a.m. But you can win them now by playing the numbers game. You want a pair of tickets? Call in 919-860-5326 if you want the glory of winning the numbers game and Jason Aldean tickets. Call in now. We need 2 contestants. 919-860-5326. Numbers game coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
College sports is undergoing so many changes these days. From the economics to the number of games these guys play, the travel. What we need in college sports is more people like Bubba Cunningham, like a Jim Phillips at the ACC. Guys who have a vision and a compassion for the sport. We don't have enough of those people these days.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Breaking news, and this one is almost unbelievable.
Yeah, it's all about new customers at Bet365 because they get $150 in bonus bets when they bet $5, win or lose. And even better, bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, and player props.
There you have it. Bet $5 to get $150 in bonus bets, win or lose. And see why it's never ordinary at Bet365. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in North Carolina. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. T&Cs apply.
Hey, this is Luke with Newcomb & Company. We are a residential, commercial, plumbing, HVAC company who's been serving the community for over 70 years. Honesty is the biggest policy around here. You know, we take pride in everything we do, anything we touch. We're not one of those companies that come and throw it in and then you can't get a hold of them again. We're there with you, hand in hand. Here at Newcomb & Company, what stands us apart from other companies is we actually do more than just AC and heat pumps. We do boilers, geothermals, furnaces, radiant floor, anything that is odds and ends that nobody else can touch is what we thrive on. At Newcomb & Company, we do same-day service. That's also another thing that helps us stand apart from other places is we do same-day service because we have enough professionals to get out to these houses to solve what the problems are. And we're on 24/7 on emergency basis, weekends, nights, holidays, you name it, we're there. If you ever need us, give us a call. Visit our website at newcombandcompany.com. As you always hear us say, your comfort is our business.
It's time for the Coastal Scholar Athlete of the Month.
This is Creighton Blackwell from Coastal Credit Union and 99.9 The Fan, and we're here at South Garner High School to celebrate our next Scholar Athlete of the Month. And that Scholar Athlete is Samayan Jones.
It means a lot to me because my parents, you know, they want me to do well and make it in life, so this is for them. I try to work hard in the classroom and on the court for them and do my best.
He's never like trying to bring no negative energy, and I feel like that's what makes him a more productive teammate.
My teammates, they encourage me a lot because, you know, I've been through injuries. They cheer me on because 2 games ago was my first time getting back on the court. So they cheer me on, encourage me every day. That's why I keep doing what I do.
He was always there in practice, just cheering us up and just carrying us on for practice, even though he wasn't playing. So that just shows what type of guy he is.
And then I have him in my class, so he's a great student as well. Just last week, one of his real good friends, he's like, Junior's just a good vibe, man. And that's what he is.
Congratulations, Samayan.
For over 20 years, 99.9 The Fan and Coastal Credit Union have been recognizing scholar athletes at Triangle area schools. If you'd like to nominate a high school athlete, text AWARD to 919-860-5326. That's AWARD to 919-860-5326.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We do have a pretty sweet prize for you. Jason Aldean tickets will be going to one of our contestants as Jason Aldean brings his full throttle tour to the area, Coastal Credit Union Music Park on August 21st with special guests Nate Smith, Ray Lynn, and DJ Silver. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m., but we have a pair of tickets going to the winner today. Jeff in Oxford and Jeff in Raleigh. We got the Battle of the Jeffs going on today. We'll start with Jeff in Oxford because we have to ask a question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. Jeff in Oxford, are you ready to answer a question?
Yes, sir.
All right. The question is, what was your favorite part about this past weekend? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
I'm going to go with my Commanders, ride or die, and, going to the NFC Championship, I was satisfied, but, the future's real bright.
I do think that's how most Commanders fans saw it. You would have liked to have won, but because you didn't, nobody's real sad about it. Jeff, go ahead and stay on the line. We'll see if that answer gets chosen as we go to the other Jeff or the next Jeff, Jeff in Raleigh. Jeff in Raleigh, same question to you. What was the highlight of your weekend, this past weekend? But because we're a sports show, keep it sports related.
I'll have to say the Canes win, but equally as disappointing was, per what you guys advised, we can't lose the SMU, and we did. So I'm going to say my like was the Canes and dislike State, which now you can put a fork in.
All right. So I'm guessing you're putting the Canes win because of the trade, because they were getting
that. Very much so.
All right.
I'm to do something.
I'm with it. So with Jeff and Jeff, Dennis, those are the answers. Which Jeff are you going with?
Great answer, Jeff. Also great answer, Jeff. Both of you guys have a lot to be proud of this weekend. I'm going to go with Jeff from Raleigh in this one because of the Canes trade. Obviously was the big thing of the weekend. But Jeff in Oxford, for Commanders fans out there, you have nothing but to be proud of this team. Like, hey, you know what? You took it on the chin in an NFC Championship game. You weren't supposed to be there. So, hey. Future's bright for that team for sure.
Ahead of schedule, for sure.
Way ahead.
That means Jeff in Raleigh gets to go first, right?
That is correct.
Get my Jeffs correct here. Jeff in Raleigh, are you ready to pick a category?
As ready as ever. I heard a guy last week win that was like a 6-time loser. That's what I'm looking at. And he did it with a 1, and he went first, so that's what I was counting on.
All right. Well, I like your optimism here. The categories are NFL. I've been in movies. These are obviously players that have been featured in blockbuster movies. NFL, I've been on reality TV. Same thing, kind of easy to understand. NBA players that were a part of the Rio 2016 Olympic team, or NHL Hurricanes only?
NHL or NFL was the first one with movies.
All right. NFL players that have been in big-time movies. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Emmitt Smith, Dallas Cowboys.
33.
Incorrect. Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers.
8.
Incorrect. Emmitt Smith, Dallas Cowboys.
22.
Correct. Dan Marino, Miami Dolphins.
12.
Incorrect. Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers.
6.
Incorrect. Dan Marino, Miami Dolphins.
10.
Incorrect. Brett Favre, Green Bay Packers.
4.
Correct. Lawrence Taylor, New York Giants.
56.
Dennis, what's the ruling on the Lawrence Taylor?
The answer was coming in before the buzzer. We'll let it count.
All right. So you got 3. Emmitt Smith with 22.
That's equal to 3 other games for me.
Well, maybe it is. You came in optimistic. Maybe it is your day. You got Emmett Smith.
I don't know. The Commanders fans got the mojo.
Maybe. Emmett Smith, 22, you got it. Brett Favre, 4, you got it. Lawrence Taylor, 56 at the buzzer. Dan Marino with the Dolphins, number 13. And for those of you wondering at home, Emmett Smith was in the movie The Little Giants. Brett Favre was in There's Something About Mary. Dan Marino, Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. And Lawrence Taylor was in The Waterboy. Those are the if just in case you were wondering. Now we go to Jeff, the next Jeff in Oxford. Are you ready to pick a category?
Yes, sir.
All right, the categories remaining for you to choose from are NFL players that have been on reality television, NBA players that were a part of Team USA in the Rio 2016 Olympics, or NHL Hurricanes only.
I'm going to go with the other NFL category.
All right, these are all NFL players that have been on reality television. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. You need 4 for the win. Any questions?
No, sir.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Rob Gronkowski, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
86.
Incorrect. Terrell Owens, San Francisco 49ers.
81.
Correct. Reggie Bush, New Orleans Saints.
22.
Incorrect. Rob Gronkowski, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
83.
Incorrect. Reggie Bush, New Orleans Saints.
25.
Correct. Deion Sanders, Dallas Cowboys.
21.
Correct. Hines Ward, Pittsburgh Steelers.
81.
Incorrect. Rob Gronkowski, Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
86.
Incorrect. Hines Ward, Pittsburgh Steelers.
83.
Incorrect. Oh, that was close. Rob Gronkowski with the Bucs, we're looking for number 87. Hines Ward with the Steelers, we're looking for number 86. So you went 86 to Gronk. Should have gone 86 to Hines. That would have given you the win. Unfortunately, a tie goes to whoever goes first. So you didn't get the win, but hopefully you had some fun.
It's all good. It's a Jeff thing. A lot of people wouldn't understand anyway.
It's a Jeff thing.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate it. You did get Terrell Owens with 81. You got Reggie Bush with 25 and Deion Sanders with 21. For those of you that just are curious, which reality television shows have they been on? Gronk was on The Masked Singer. Terrell Owens was on MTV's The Challenge. Reggie Bush apparently showed up on Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Deion Sanders looks like he had his own Deion's Family Playbook. And Hines Ward was on Dancing with the Stars. So a wide variety of reality television shows graced by those NFL players. It was Jeff in Raleigh got the win, which means Jeff in Oxford did not in the Battle of the Jeffs. Apparently it's a Jeff thing, and we wouldn't know anything about it. The winner today did get Jason Aldean tickets. Jason Aldean coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on August 21st, Full Throttle Tour with special guests Nate Smith, Ray Lynn, and DJ Silver. Tickets on sale on Friday at 10 a.m., but as always, every day about this time we play the numbers game, and I believe all week we'll be giving away Jason Aldean tickets. So you know where to be if you want to get them before they're available, Friday at 10 a.m. That was the categories were good on that one. Different. Paul Ihander oftentimes puts those together. We have our behind-the-scenes staff, but the movies, so I was like, oh, yeah, Lawrence Taylor was in The Waterboy. Oh, yeah. Brett Favre in Something About Mary is an all-time classic. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we move on and ask the question of what's next for the Canes, 6 weeks before the trade deadline, are they done? Before we do that, Dennis Cox has something for you.
Hey, folks, Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, don't go through another year with all that high-interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait, folks. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote now with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, asks the all-important question. What else do you want to see from the Canes? Are you not happy getting a top 10 player in the league? What else do you want? Stick around to find out.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
The Eagles' run game is based on the offensive line. Saquon Barkley does a great job with making second and third level defenders miss, but he's 15, 20 yards downfield. He doesn't get touched for 20 yards. I have a hard time saying that guy is the most important player on the team when nobody touches him for 2 first downs.
Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader. Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with Upfit Solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet, choose custom installed Upfit Solutions from Van Products.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
When something happens to your kitchen, you might say,
"This is ludicrous."
but that won't fix your home. That will only get you the rapper, Ludacris.
Having trouble? Don't panic. Don't be alarmed. You need to file a claim? Holla at State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
That's right. You can file a claim on the app or call us.
Thanks, Mr. Chris.
No matter how ludicrous the situation, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Find what you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
With curbside pickup and delivery available, you'll always find what you love, only at Total Wine & More.
Drink responsibly, B21.
John Porcelain here for my friends at Buffalo Brothers. You know the big game is right around the corner, and it's time to start thinking about big game parties. Don't be that guy that doesn't get the best wings in town. So order your wings today from Buffalo Brothers. Come and get Buffalo Brothers Big Game Special. 2 large pizzas and 20 wings for just $50. That's food for the whole family at more than 20% off. But remember, order today as pickup times fill up fast. Buffalo Brothers. Aw, man, now I want wings.
You know what makes every diamond unique and special are its 4 C's. Its cut, clarity, color, and carat weight. But do you know what makes Diamonds Direct special and unique? It's our own 4 C's. The first C, concept. Diamonds Direct has revolutionized jewelry shopping by eliminating middleman markups and giving you direct access to the world's finest diamonds straight from the diamond cutters. The second C, choice. Diamonds Direct's multi-million-dollar selection of precious diamonds is unparalleled. And with over 4,000 designer settings to choose from, you are empowered to make a decision that works for your style and taste. Third C, confidence. With a nationwide price guarantee, a free lifetime warranty, our unique 110% diamond upgrade policy, and our no-pressure, no-risk environment, you have total peace of mind. And the fourth C, community. Every year we partner with local charities and nonprofits with significant donations of time, money, and jewelry to make this a better place for everyone. Diamonds Direct, official jeweler of the Carolina Hurricanes and proud sponsor of NC State Athletics, and proud to call the Triangle home. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Out in front to score! Aho trying to set up Rantanen, and he'll take a bounce for Carolina, and it's a 2-0 lead as Aho gets his 16th of the season and a good break for the Canes.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. All right. Mikko Rantanen is a Carolina Hurricane. Taylor Hall is a Carolina Hurricane. Now that Eric Tolsky and the Canes have shown us that they're willing to make the splash move, what else you want to see? Are you not entertained? What else could they possibly do? I ask that simply because, like, all in means all in. I think they're all in right now, right? That move is not one you make when you're half-stepping. That's not we'd like to try to get – but no, that's we're trying to win a cup. So look at the roster. What else is possible? The funny part is in the lead-up prior to the Mikko Rantanen trade and the Taylor Hall trade, there was a lot of conversations about like JT Miller, Elias Pettersson from Vancouver, and one of the more popular kind of hypothesized trade packages, Kotkaniemi and Roslovic. They're both still around. You look at maybe the draft picks. You look at some of the prospects that many hypothesized, like it won't be fun, but they could move. I wouldn't like it, but they could move. They pretty much all are still around, right? They gave up some mid-round picks, some not first-round picks, and they gave up players that were on the NHL roster. So there's still some ammunition. Eric Tulsky on Saturday, the GM, was asked why there weren't a lot of futures built into the deal, and that means like the first-round picks and the prospects and those types of things. This is what Tulsky had to say.
We could have done a very different deal where it was centered on a lot of futures, and I would have been thrilled with that because our current team would have been much better. And if we were trading with a team that was in a different position than Colorado, that's probably what the deal would have looked like. This was a rare case where a team that was moving a pending free agent was also a contender, and so they wanted current roster pieces back who could help them this year too. And so that's why we ended up with a deal that didn't have that much in terms of futures in it, because they weren't in a position to trade a star player for futures. They wanted pieces that could help them this year and next.
That, I hear there. If he's willing to make the moves that will make this year's team much better, perhaps at the expense of the future, then he still has the ammunition to make those types of moves.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you start looking around. You don't want to get greedy, right? Although maybe it's the time to be greedy, right? There is kind of a wide open cup chase this year. Maybe it's the time. Here's the way I look at it. And through conversations with Dennis, conversations with Adam Gold, right? Trying to react to this the same way that everybody else is reacting to this. I'm thinking 100% about the postseason, right? I'm thinking 100% about what will potentially be the snag, right? The thing that holds you back from advancing another round, the thing that'll hold you back from making it to the Stanley Cup final. And I look at it and I see two places. One, depth at center, and one, depth on back on the blue line, defense. Right now, what you're depending upon for like fourth line center is what I want to be depending on at fourth line center after like a couple of well-placed injuries. Like if you're picking between Jost, Roslovic moving to center, and Jaska at center, I want to be like, oh darn, did two or three guys get hurt? Like are they tweaked? Because then it's like, all right, I understand you're piecing it all together with paper mache right now. I don't want that to be like one of the plans. I don't want that to be one of the main scenarios. And the same is true with defense. They are one injury away from like Riley Stillman getting major minutes in a postseason series.
Or Ty Smith.
Mm-hmm. Similarly. I'm not sure that's what I would be super jacked up about if this is the year to go for. If you're all in for this year, right? If it's a year where you're, thinking like, hey, we're building into a 5-year window, which is what I think the Canes have been doing for a long time, then it's, you know what? Okay, don't do anything crazy to mortgage the future. This is good enough for now, and then we can run it back next year, and hopefully everybody stays healthy. This season, it seems like, hey, you know what? If you can move a piece, or you can find somebody that wants a piece that you're not super high on, and that can give you depth at center, that can bring in, kind of like, two legit NHL caliber defensemen to give you that cushion if something does happen. I think you look into it, and all credit to Eric Tulsky, right? I'm done, doubting the guy's kind of guts to make moves. As he makes the rounds, talking to everybody about the Rantanen Hall trade, he does say, like, we're in the business of getting better. The way he said it, I think I saw this quote on Friday, was until we have the 20 best players in the league on our roster, we're going to continue to look to see how we can make our roster better.
Yeah, he said that on Saturday.
So right, I mean, first of all, love the quote. Love the like, that is like a tenet of your front office. I also think this is one of the few years where it's true, right? I do think a lot of years you're not actually thinking that way because you're thinking, we need future, we need young guys, we need that, but then occasionally push your chips into the middle and see what happens. And the other thing that I like is the Rantanen trade. We talked about it earlier. I think it goes from like an A or A- to an A+. The moment Rantanen signs a long-term extension. I think winning helps that, right? I think this year, going further than the Canes have gone in the last 6 or 7 years, helps Rantanen know, okay, this is a place I can win Stanley Cups. This is a place Aho and I can kind of go down as super-duper legends and go down as two of the best to do it because of the atmosphere that is built here. And if winning helps you keep Rantanen, then I'm kind of thinking like, another all-in move. You don't pay for side effect is it makes you more likely to win, more likely to re-sign Rantanen. That's kind of a whole other deal there. So I'm not ready. I'm gonna go real bold prediction here.
Okay, do it.
I don't think they make another Rantanen level trade. Sarcasm, right? Like there's only so many in-season trades of that level in like NHL history.
Yeah, especially with that high price too. Like there's only so much money you can spend. There's a salary cap.
Yep. So
it's not like baseball. Hey, just get everybody.
So I don't think they'll make that move. Again, I understand how ridiculous that sounds. I do think there's a few ways they can move kind of, bottom six forwards or go for a fourth line center, something like that. You're already kind of pot committed to Kotkaniemi being your second line center, but you've surrounded him now with talent that I think can raise his level of play. And to his credit, the last week and a half, he's been playing some of the best hockey we've seen him play. And I also think there's a move for like a seventh defenseman that just raises the depth of your defense an aggressive level. So you're 2 injuries away from having to put it together with duct tape and chewing gum rather than 1 injury away from having to put it together with duct tape and chewing gum. And I just like that kind of cushion, that little barrier a little bit more. And wheeling, dealing Tulsky, maybe he'll surprise us and do something crazy.
The nice thing is about the timing of this Rantanen and Taylor Hall trades, you saw, like you said, 6 weeks till the trade deadline. You can kind of figure out, okay, what do we need? How does everything fit? What can we do? What's the market going to allow us to do? It gives them a lot of runway to figure this thing out as opposed to doing it all at the trade deadline, then going, all right, guys, let's go.
And it might just be like seeing what they need, right? Seeing who would play well with Hall, getting more familiar with his game, because if he's going to be bouncing around on lines, you want somebody with good chemistry with him. So there's some really exciting stuff going on there. And you know what I love about the move? It happening this early? Tulsky got him to make the move that early, right? Because if they thought that deal was always going to be there, they would have waited and had Rantanen for another month.
Funny thing I saw with a couple of reporters reaching out to other GMs saying, I didn't realize Rantanen was available.
Yeah.
There you go, Tulsky.
I love everything about it. Big fan. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Before we get to Overdrive and more Rantanen talk, here's Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. The action is heating up this playoff season at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Lock in your touchdown picks, check out trending parlays, and increase your winnings with Profit Boost. New customers can get up to $1,500 back in bonus bets if your first bet doesn't win, and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the ESPN Bet Sportsbook app and sign up with the promo code RADIO to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan, is coming to a close, but Overdrive is going to start with our reaction earlier to the Mikko, Rantanen, Taylor Hall additions by the Carolina Hurricanes. As you just heard, I like the move. It is not 100% surefire going to be the thing that wins them a cup, but I like the move. Big way. That's coming up here on Overdrive. Also, State at Duke. We talked about it earlier. You'll hear that conversation. Big game tonight in the Triangle. Should be a fun night. Should be a fun day tomorrow. We'll be back at 3 o'clock. Until then, have a great night, everybody.
Listen for that. Did he just do that?
Johnson trying to step back for a three. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold.